a journey for some, the continued journey for others. We've already seen some drop spots being switched up. Other players are sticking straight to the plan, but we're going ahead and looking at some of these contested battles right out of the game. Reason and Janice going up against Curb and Whiskey a little bit, but it looks like they're actually going to split off. They don't want to go ahead and hold on to one spot, and as soon as they realize it's safe, they go back to the game plan.
Up at the far north side, Giannis immediately heading for this crude harbor drop. It seems as though Giannis and Reason, maybe with the intentions of not trying to eat early surge damage, but as we can tell, the 50-50s, they have begun. Teams that got the better drops
questa è la stessa di quelle di ieri.
Questo è un altro giocatore.
No, sono gli stessi.
Yeah, this is his continued journey from yesterday.
È leggermente diversa la skin, ha una stellina che gli gira intorno alla testa, quelle di ieri non ricordo se
Pam's doing fast. On the other hand, they thought they were going to have a huge contested battle. We saw it yesterday, but it doesn't look like Stains and Data
È molto
are going to go ahead
interessante
and
perché
contest
ieri
them, or at least
ormai ci
not
eravamo
right
abituati
out
a
of the
quali erano
gates.
le coppie che si
Stain and
incontravano in
Data's
ciascuna mappa,
taking
non
a
in ciascuna
moment to
posto.
reconsider things,
Però ora
given how the
dobbiamo vedere
circumstances
se
went
quelli
against
che ieri
Kenny
andavano in quel
yesterday,
posto
but
andranno
here,
anche questa
extra
volta in quel
crossing,
posto e con chi
adapter,
si incontreranno, no?
KS
Esatto.
trying to be careful. They know that
Questo
they've got pressure
forse ha avuto una
looming
partita
elsewhere inside of this
svoltata.
POI. It's going to be Suns and Anon,
Vediamo un po',
who
no?
actually
Suns.
seemingly switched up. Initially, were appearing as though Suns and Anon were going to head towards
Beh,
Naughty
Bravado.
Nets, but maybe because of the
Tanto
deal and
da
Savage's
spagnolo,
presence, thought
speriamo.
otherwise.
Yeah, they had it uncontested yesterday. Did not work out for them. So I feel like they're just confident. They're ready to take whatever challenge is going to be before them. They want a little bit more loot, a clear path towards the middle of the zone, even though this time in
Dai,
front
Riccardo, però.
trying to go for the flag, and third-party shots already interrupting this off-spawn battle. That's going to force Adapter back, and he might have to go ahead and loot. He only has one combat SMG and not much to work with. But while they giving him time, that's FKS. They're trying to put the pressure on so that way his teammate can get a better loadout.
But at the same time, they're just letting the capture point go for free. And in fact, it seems as though there is some danger hanging on over by Naughty Nets. Saw a nice collection elimination there from Steno onto Mr. Savage. That could definitely play some spoiler effects for game one.
Vidil finds himself alive somehow, some way. He heard all the nice things Mr. Savage said about him, but makes some noise, clicks, and Epic well contested over towards Mega City. But I feel like that's no different. All season long, they've been contested about 2 or 3 other teams, but there's so much space to work with. There's so much loot to share. As long as they don't get caught off guard, it's business as usual.
But at the same time, there is so much traffic
uno grigio,
inside
c'è
of
uno
Mega
grigio che
City,
sta
and
da
as far as
solo.
the vault is concerned, there's definitely something worth fighting over. You have to
Questo
expect
va da solo che
that
si lontana.
regardless of where
Oddio.
that high cart spawn is
Vuoi
at,
guardare
people are going to be looking to make sure to take out whoever actually secures that vault key card.
Oh, wow. Actually, they weren't
Però vedi, ma che
necessarily
riprese del
contested.
cazzo fanno?
They
Cioè,
were
hanno fatto
taken out on
perdere
their drop.
questi
You
che
saw
hanno
Vidil
combattuto,
go
hanno
ahead
già
and
perso
get
il
that reboot
compagno.
card, trying to give his teammate a second chance at life. Oak is here, ready to put some respect on his name, already getting 1 elimination. He's looking for another, but first he has a stop to make. Let's clean up this loot. Let's try to get as jam-packed as possible. You see the fallen teammate, Deguro, is going to be right above him. He knows no matter what, as he continues his journey, he's going to have to try to get that reboot card, because doing this alone is not something anybody wants to face.
But at the same time, that siphon there for Okis definitely gave him a nice little bit to work with in comparison to Dieta, who doesn't have shields. If Okis wants to pressure this, he's definitely more than capable of doing so, but it seems as though his mentality right now is just to stay on the move. Being in this sort of solo situation, deep in the jungle biome here at Rumble Ruins, especially in this lower elevation territory, he might be able to sneak up on some other teams.
Yeah, I like the way you mentioned Surge as one of the first things, because yesterday, if it's shown us anything, Surge is not the easiest thing to come by in a lobby like this. And uncontested this time around, Canal and Agers getting a chance to fight off spawn, and immediately they go to what they know works from the past, trying to get Surge underneath their own belt, so that way they don't have to worry about it too much later in the game. But Vico and Pink, another team that has experience from day one, contested by Acorn and Cold. This time around, they're ready to take their fights to their opponent, and on the other side of things, it is going to be Bully and Shadow.
Look at this height battle as well between
Stavamo
Pink and
analizzando
Bully,
che
both of
Okis,
them
che appena
trying to
uscito il
provide
compagno di un'altra
cover fire
squadra,
for their
non
fraggers
compariva
down
la barra
below.
sotto di che
As far
avere
as
un
Vico and
compagno,
Shadow
quindi
are
stavamo
concerned,
dicendo
a
probabilmente
little bit
sarà
of a
solo.
pause here,
E
not
poi
going to try to
stavamo
challenge things
dicendo,
though.
lui diceva può essere un
Vico's
vantaggio che ad
trying to look for a
esempio
regroup
c'è più
circumstance,
kill da
but
fare,
again,
quindi
you
un
have to
punteggio
keep
per te.
some form
Però
of a
d'altra
barrier
parte
between
io
yourself
stavo
and another
dicendo,
team.
penso che in
only
realtà le
just
kill
trying to do
forse a
what
lui
he
gliele
can as
contano
far as making sure
un
that he's able to
fattore
suppress
poco
Pete
di
in the
più.
process,
Invece
but
di, che ne
they're
so,
not
ogni
trying to
kill
give up
3
any sort of
punti,
resources
magari
for
gli fanno
free for him.
Yeah, and you can
3.1,
kind
Ma
of
non
already
credo.
see
perché
in the
essendo da
mini-map
solo
this a
non ha
little
il
bit. You've
compagno che
seen
lo
it here.
affianca, no?
Bully and
Però non
Shadow,
credo
they
che lo
had no
facciano
intention on trying to
perché
take that
appunto
engage. They
perdere il
split
compagno
up to
comunque
try to
in
get
teoria
even
sarebbe
more surge early on in the
un
game
po'
before the
brutto.
zone does get too small. Stacey and POTA side probably have the fan favorites on their side in the stadium. I hear them loud and proud already, and they're
Beh
trying to go
no,
ahead and
perché in
use
realtà
that
no.
energy to fuel them here today. A little bit of a misstep on day one, but they're picking themselves up, dusting themselves off, and ready to put on a show.
Just because you stumble doesn't mean you fall, and it's got to be such an invigorating feeling knowing that you have so many fans in the venue just cheering for you every step of the way. It's not even like these guys are getting a piece of the action right yet. They're just moving, and you've got the rich fans
No, invece
cheering
tu
for
devi
them.
pensare
It's
al
just
contrario,
awesome
nella
to see
tappa
that kind of
finale è
display.
esattamente
One
come
of the
fa la
best
differenza,
controller
perché nel
players in the
momento
lobby.
finale sono talmente
Polarized,
tanti
teamed up
giocatori
with
in uno
Scented
spazio
over on the other
stretto
side.
che la
They're taking
probabilità
a
che tu,
split that
tu
in
come
day one
individuo
belonged to
muoia
another
è
team.
altissima.
Probably part of their
Quindi se tu
strategy.
muori per
Use this to
te
try
è
to
finito il
qualify.
gioco, ma
They'll
se tu
figure it
muori e
out
hai un
later
compagno
because
in
that's the
squadra,
biggest things.
il tuo
At
compagno in
this
squadra
stage
può
in the
ancora far
game,
vincere la
there's
squadra.
no reason to save all your secrets for that championship Sunday because you have to be able to make it there. Mini Miner said it
Alla
himself to
fine
open
dici
up the
perché gli è
show
morto il
because what
compagno?
good are those
Esatto, infatti
strategies?
sono
What good are those
svantaggiati
tricks underneath
rispetto
your sleeves
all'altro,
if you're
perché se
not
tu ci
able
fai
to use
caso,
them in
tutti
the
quanti
biggest
in
moments
squadra
possible?
tendono poi ad andare sempre
Trouble
più
now.
insieme, non si
Not
allontanano. Quindi la
Podesai
parte finale
just
tutti
yet,
stanno
kind of
vicini, così
lurking
se c'è un
around this
nemico
bush.
tutti
He
e due
knows that
sparano.
he's got
Quindi se tu invece sei da solo,
contenders
non puoi
down beneath
con
him, and as
qualcuno
for
essere
Shalom and
affiancato
MK
nell'uccidere
they
l'altro,
want
ma
to take
saranno
their
gli altri
time.
a
I
essere
mean,
affiancati
kind of
contro di te.
tough to try and fight that uphill battle, quite
Capito?
literally. So instead, just continue to
Io
wait
penso che
things out,
perdere il
wait for a
compagno a
better
quel
opportunity to
livello
look
sia
for a
solo uno
rotation
svantaggio,
out. Can
non
be
vedo
difficult as
nessun
well when you're playing right here on the edge
effetto
side of where
benefico
these
perché
zone pulls are happening, because again, for
non
Podesai, it
sei
seems as though the
con
intent is just to prioritize
nemici
positioning.
giocatori il
One
cui
team that changed their
il
positioning
livello
overall
è dubbio.
to another King,
E quindi
Phaser.
è
You can
difficilissimo
already
che
see
tu,
they're over
come è
towards Shadow's
successo
flag.
ieri in
Zone
un
is pulling
caso,
all the way
riesca
towards the eastern
a
side of
far
the map.
fuori tutti
They have a long
altri
journey
due
to go. You
membri
can
di
even see
una
it at the
squadra. Può
edge
succedere
of
una
Mega
volta, ma
City
poi
here on Pink and Vico.
è
So
molto
they have
bassa la
even more
probabilità.
rotations to go later on in the game. But for now, it's Batman, Booga, and Rapid who beat him to the punch. The top of the hill, just west of Mega City. And they immediately got out of Mega City because that's one of the things we talked about to start the show is how contested it actually is. They could easily take a building on top, but they're taking a little bit of the safer route or what they thought would be because right now Pink and Vico are slowly but surely looking like they're going to try and sneak up, see if they have any opportunity to take over. But as you can see in the mini-map, they're going to choose to go the other way. It's not something they want to battle this
Sì, ho
early on in the
capito,
game.
ma
You can already see some shots though coming from a little bit of a distance here. Rapid just trying to be wary of his surroundings, and it makes perfect sense why you'd want to ditch from Mega City ASAP when there's 4 separate teams landing there. Again, it's just so much traffic to actually deal with. So
cioè il
why
Nipizza
risk
non
it
me ne posso andare
when
di là.
every single game can be so
Dai,
important?
mo c'è le
I think for
scarpe,
Rapid and
dai,
Batman
Vito, non
Booga,
dà
not
fastidio.
necessarily getting max resources, max materials, it's not as bad as it
Immagina
might
lui,
initially
Batman
look, because
Luga,
they
che
can always
gioca
find the
contro Buga.
refreshes after the fact, because again,
Secondo me sono problemi
storm surge strategies were definitely an issue for a lot of teams in day 1, and this
c'è
is day
problemi,
2.
scusa, uno
It's
si chiama
not like
Buga,
the
tu ti chiami
competition's
Batman
gotten
Buga, ma c'è
any less.
problemi,
Yeah,
dai.
and you're seeing a lot of these
Cioè, non
teams
basta che lo
taking that
dici, mi sono
prime real estate
ispirato a
to where
Buga,
they know
cioè per me
players
Buga
are
è un
going to
idolo
rotate
e
into.
quindi io
Deal.
gioco perché lui mi ha
You've seen
ispirato.
him go for the
Chiami allo
reboot card
stesso
onto
modo, dai,
Mr.
c'è
Savage,
problemi.
uncontested, not even nets.
Cioè,
That's a
io
no-brainer
chiamo
that is going to get
il
him
mio nome
back
in
into the
Shakira.
game, back up
Cioè,
as a
siamo
duo. But
fuori.
as you can see in the minimap, they are split up. They called out this strategy to start the game. They're trying to cover more
Sì, ma un
ground. They're
conto
trying to
che tu
take more
chiami tuo
space away.
figlio
This
così,
also
un conto
allows
che
them
tu
to get
stesso ti
better
chiami, cioè
lines of
dai.
sight around the map for their Storm Surge. They
problemi.
already know what has happened
Soprattutto
in
perché
the
in questo
past
caso,
when Storm
capito?
Surge
Cioè,
is
tu immagina
lacking. It
sta cosa,
forces
lui
you
sta
to
in
make
giocare,
plays.
sta
It's
giocando
almost like you
contro un
don't have
Buga
control
che si
over the
chiama
game,
Batman
and
Buga.
they are trying to do their best to keep control of their own destiny.
Io posso
It's
capire
definitely
che siamo
something that is
giochiamo
haunted
tipo
Mr. Savage in the
deficiency
deal all
Buga.
chapter
Che lo
long,
fai
as far as
per
Major
il
3
culo,
was concerned, and
capito?
even leading into that last
Fai il
chance
tuo nome a
major,
presa per
where
il
we
culo
saw them
di Buga.
switching up their drop spot even over to Drift
Non
Ridge,
dico niente.
just because of the fact that Mr. Savage is mentioning he doesn't like to be
Autocensura.
contested. Sure, they got it uncon then,
È
but
un...
it's still never easy,
È un
whether
perla.
you're
Un bambino...
uncon or contested, as far as establishing a solid Storm Surge strategy.
Yep, Fanayan and Moneymaker. Moneymaker probably one of our youngest players competing here today, showing that
Questo è il più
anything
piccolo,
is
dicono.
truly possible as
Youngest
long
player.
as you have a chance, and they've given
Moneymaker
themselves
invece
just
avrà
that,
12
an
anni, guarda quanto è
opportunity
piccolo.
on the biggest
Non entra
stage
neanche sulla
in the
sedia,
world
la
when it
sedia
comes
è
to Fortnite.
gigantesca.
And you can already see the augment that he's choosing out.
Non
First
mi
Assault, Scope Salvo, two of the biggest
joystick,
ones that are needed
Non
when
mi
it comes
vengono
to
in
Storm
mente
Surge to
commenti
allow them to
positivi.
keep their distance and keep hitting those shots.
Buona fortuna a lui.
Like seeing this from Kitos as well.
Infatti,
Talking about augments, but right now the prioritization's
da
on
una
to
giovane età
Snazy.
derivano grandi
And
poteri.
it's looking good. Trying to see if they can push forward in this box fight. Shots being taken by Podesai as well, just to even trade out so far. No real damage inflicted by either side just yet. But Yuma and Jamon, they can definitely feel the pressure, and Podesai definitely aware of the fact that they've got more company coming.
Who already taking advantage of their positioning high up on the side of that mountain, trying to third party take some shots onto both Peak and Vico, who took down
loro
Focus,
abbiano
adding more to their own Storm
realizzato
Surge.
la visione
Weapon
di
cache
questo
are
torneo
gonna be
tramite
there,
un
and you can see
sistema
Yuma
che
and
è molto
Jamon
simile quando
probably
rivedi
share
che
that same weapons cache, so they're gonna
mi è
be forced
deluso
to
un po'
wait till
perché non
Snazy and
è
Podesai leave off of this spot to try
immersivo
to pick
così
up the
come
scraps,
dovremmo.
figure out whatever is
Avrebbero
left
potuto
along.
pensare a
But a
qualcosa
team
in
that,
meno,
you know, taking a lot of time towards
secondo me.
Slappy Shores. My only question for them is how
Sì,
is their surge?
ma vuol
Because
dire
a lot
anche
of the
che non hanno
teams
avuto
are on the
tanta...
western side of the zone for now. They haven't begun to rotate over towards Slappy Shores. Not a lot of teams landing here right out of the gates. So for them, that's probably what's on their mind right now.
Inglese,
We've looted
Brasile,
up, we've gotten
Giappone.
everything we need. Now we just need Storm Surge.
And hey, we're talking about Storm Surge so often for Pink
Fai
and
clean
Vico.
feed.
This is going to be a massive contributing factor, getting that elimination
non
onto
Brasile.
Oakis, just taking full advantage of that 2v1 situation. And that's something that's not necessarily going to be easiest to come by at this stage of the game. And for Rapid and Matt Mambuga, again, we revisit, we talk about the fact they left Mega City so early, and they just haven't managed yet to find that pressure situation to actually secure eliminations for the refreshes that they would like. They don't necessarily have time to just farm resources either, because there's other teams moving in at this point. There's other teams already establishing good positioning off of earlier rotation. So if you try to expend your time farming resources, you're just going to keep getting lit up.
Yeah, and honestly, looking at 7-man's inventory now, you can already see they won the ball over towards Relentless Retreat, but it's a little unorthodox. Typically, you would grab something to pack a punch, whether it's a Sharp Tooth, an Infiltrator, or even a Maven, but he's going to go without it for now, hoping that that Mythic Stinger does more than enough damage in a moment's notice to be able to survive. It all depends on how you control that recoil, honestly, because I remember that thing go brr.
It's so obvious that the intention, though, is that up-close and personal battle. The question is, will they actually manage to force themselves into that type of
L'isola che
situation?
ricordiamo loro,
And Rift Island can definitely be a location
da
where we'd expect
quanto
those battles to come,
si
but
desume dal torneo
Ma da
di ieri,
questo non ci arriva.
guadagnano dei punti se conquistano l'isola, quindi è importante quasi tanto quanto uccidere, se non di più, conquistare l'isola per il punteggio finale. Infatti sono tutti invogliati ad andare via, lo stanno
Actually
facendo.
looking to contest, they don't want to let this Rift Island objective points go for free.
If only they saw the damage that was put on both of these players before they even touched down on the island. Surely they would try to take advantage of it. And you can see one man
Mero,
stash, another man
Mero
stash,
Cooper,
Mero and
ragazzo.
Cooper sneaking up on the side, trying to take away the position. The French team of Snazy and
Anche Mero
Podesai
Cooper che
also
stanno
willing to contest this Rift Island. And that's one of the things I was thinking. It was very, very passive yesterday. Even solos were able to take it. But as the VOD review goes on, as time passes, players are going to realize there's nobody up there. But when everybody thinks the same, now we have 4 teams on top of Rift Island ready to battle it out. One of them, Henan Vask, 141 above the damage threshold. They're going to be the ones to contain it, plus 15 points for them. And that's going to be huge because we already see teams qualify with those points of the objectives.
Every little bit counts, but we've gotten a good idea of what's been happening directly in game so far. However, got a mid-game analyst to give us a little bit more.
Thank you so much, Taco. I just want to catch everyone up on our hometown heroes of Steno and Lush, who were able to get an elimination on Mr. Savage before he even hit the ground.
Praticamente è
Then
nella
we saw Steno
fortezza
be able
che
to
è
find a
vicina a
key,
Bastione,
which he used to
ma è
unlock a
vicina
mythic
anche alla
shotgun.
zona
Quickly,
verde.
they regrouped, built up a surge tower, and as
Sì,
you
è
can
vero.
see, they have vision on two
Il
duos
problema è che non
of
penso che
Jamin
tu
and
possa rimanere fermo per
Kanada,
tutta la
setting
durata del
themselves
gioco
up
fino
for
o
an
almeno fino a
excellent
che
mid
poi
and
lo
late game.
spostamento
But let's
della
see how they
tempesta,
do.
perché penso che ti dà i danni.
A meno che non hai lo sniper,
See
credo
how
che
it
se
pays
hai
off. They
lo
definitely
sniper
got
riesci a
themselves a
colpire
good
a
spot
questi
in the zone
venditori, forse
thanks to those
riescono anche a
plays.
farlo.
And that's the thing too
Se hai
about those teams that are
fucile da
landing more
cecchino
towards the
riesci
south
a
side.
colpire
It
gli
is
altri da
so
lì,
easy for other teams
allora
with
forse
slightly earlier
puoi anche
drops to
rimanere
just
fermo
pick you
tutta la
off with the
partita.
elevation difference. It's one
Però io so che
primary issue
pensavo,
definitely known about that Naughty
però
Nets
magari l'ha
area, but
fatto, non l'ho visto
you can always
io.
expect to bounce back. I mean, we already saw the deal with the successful reboot ban onto Savage, so easy to say that anything can happen in these circumstances.
You can see it started at 181 above the damage threshold. Pam's doing Fatch slowly falling back down, climbing back up, trading shots back and forth. You have their eyes set towards Rift Island. They see a giant monument being built on top as Polaroids actually took
Infatti
down
sono molto curiosa di
Snazy
sapere
up
cosa sta
above.
succedendo lì.
And this is going to be a huge opportunity for them as they're just looking around. Nobody's directly pushing up onto them, even though they are split. They're just looking for these fights that are already underway and just trying to take advantage of it the best that they can. And just looking at the island right now, I didn't see Scented either.
Miro and Cooper are looking
Questo è
awfully
vero, guarda.
anxious
Tra
though
l'altro
in
tu lo
that
sai,
position. You can just tell that they are waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike, and it's got to be only a matter of time. They can tell that there is so much chaos already unfolding on top of this Rift Island. Teams are just constantly under pressure, both outside and right here directly at the Rift Island. But for Vask and for Hen, again, you have to remember, they're the ones who actually secured the capture point here. So they've got some decent loot to go with it. And Miro and Cooper, if there was ever a time to try and take down another team and, you know, get
Il razzo
plenty
a carica
of
però.
refills as far as your materials are concerned and your weapons,
E lui sta con
that is
un'arma
definitely
grid,
the
ragazzi.
opportunity.
Yeah, elimination feed is lighting up. A lot of players being forced to
Sono-
interact with each other thanks to that
Non quelli
storm
che hanno
surge.
vinto in
Seeing
classifica
Vortex
ieri.
go down. Even Duke's
Però non
trying to
avevano
rise to the
vinto.
occasion here today after his
Primi a
performance
vincere.
yesterday, trying to
No.
qualify for the FNCS Global
Sì,
Championship
sì.
final tomorrow. Jamon goes down. Yuma's going to have to leave him behind, but he's only 72 above the storm surge threshold, but now he's becoming the focus of
E in
multiple
più mi
teams
sa che non
in
è così
this
tanto
lobby right
esplosivo
now.
come
It's
lo era
not looking
normalmente,
good.
perché visto quando
HP
Ferrato
is going to
non
be
ha
down
tutto
low.
il
Shields are going to be ripped
assolutamente
off, and the
schifo.
shots continue. Finally, though, he does have a
Magari
short
danneggia un
moment to
po',
breathe, but that's
però
only going to give
rende
him
più
enough time to
facile
pop
poi
one
per
Mimi.
buttare
The
giù.
Shalom and MK Pop are over on the other side. They probably know that he's a solo. They saw him crash land in with that rocket ram, and this is something that they're trying to take advantage of.
Shalom and NK Papas, they've just been playing bouncer responsibility on this edge of zone, and granted it just moved in a little bit tighter, but for Yuma, now you can see him starting to get lit up by some of that storm surge. Accountability as far as your surge strategies are concerned, it can be very difficult to maintain it throughout because there's just so much action happening as some of the congestion builds along this edge of zone, and teams needing to move even further in. Players like Yuma are bound to get caught out on those later rotations.
Yeah, you can see they're even willing to risk it. Shalom and MK Papa, they got the elimination, or at least they saw it towards the backside of zone, but they didn't have very many materials at all. So it was almost an all or nothing situation if they want to keep as best chance as possible for them to try to stay alive. I see a Vico. I don't see Pink. Got to imagine he is by himself as a solo, and he's suffering to surge right now. 13 below the threshold. Now he's in zone. Everything crumbling down. Only a few seconds to try to land the shot that matters, and he's not going to be given that opportunity. Down goes Pink. Down goes Vico.
But a massive pickup there for Yuma. Still utilize that rocket ram to try and close the gap even further. Make sure that he's maintaining decent distance on that backside of the zone. Kanata, meanwhile,
Canada 0-0.
next to Agers, trying to be vigilant with his awareness. And again, so many teams just trying to keep tabs on where everybody else is in the lobby. And players like Ding, there are a decent amount of pressure here, but they will manage to prevail. Nicely timed shots, nicely placed aim as well with that sharp tooth to ensure that they can acquire that elimination.
Yeah, and since he got eliminated altogether, gotta imagine Moneymaker went down earlier on in this same game. We saw Polarize, the one that took down Snazy, leaving Podesai by himself. At least he's above the damage threshold for now, but quickly falling below. Now he knows he's going to have to try to find and catch somebody off guard, because otherwise he's going to have no choice but to try to get in the box. Slowly but surely biding his time, trying to make sure that he makes the right play. And this is an opportunity for him to really rise to the occasion by himself. And with Storm Surge shutting off for now, that at least allows him to breathe, restabilize himself in that position. Edgy goes down outside of zone. It wasn't a knock. So Duke and Edgy are also out of this game. Action is moving so fast, and we're not even into the placement points yet.
The zone pull, a little bit brutal for some of these teams as it just keeps getting closer and closer to that edge side. And again, for Agers and Kanata, as we get another opportunity to see from where we last left off with them, Kanata's got to be careful with his rocket ram on the landing. So many teams, and right on the side of this hill.
E quell'altro che era planato più lentamente, quindi mi sa che l'esplosione non l'ha fatta perché non è stato perpendicolare.
Unfortunately for him,
Perpendicolare.
mini shield potions won't actually get an opportunity to get full shields. And for Agers, this is even worse.
Yeah, he only has 23 HP, doesn't have time to sit back. Nice shot's gonna be
No,
fired.
l'ha curato. Ti rendi conto? Raga, pure loro fanno questi errori. L'ha curato.
Ragazzi, abbiamo un esempio di Premiums anche nel torneo.
Cazzo, deve uscire dalla tempesta, non ce la fa.
Si lo ammazza se la fa perché le
È vero. Allora è stato di un'intelligenza sopraffina. E ha lo Sky. È stato comunque molto molto bravo. Un'azione fenomenale.
Sì, ha visto pure la cosa. No, raga, con l'ansia. Non ce lo vedere. Guarda, se non ce lo fanno vedere.
Sì, da lontano lo vedi, lui è anche.
Sì, ce l'ha fatta.
Ce la fa. E ce la fa.
Madonna, ragazzi, ha fatto una giocata. E il compagno è ancora vivo, quindi il compagno se c'è qualcosa per curarlo.
Medkit
No,
being
fallo tu.
used, minis being dished out, and they are back into the game. The resurgence from day one as we get a replay from Clicks and Epicwell. One of the biggest teams everybody came to see. They get aggressed on due to Storm Surge, and they shine bright. Storm Surge is not a problem from them as they pick up 2 eliminations.
Che è successo? Non ho visto.
Check out where Bryce and Chubbs are at, a little bit more isolated to these other teams that are trapped inside of all this congestion. Mr. Savage and the deal, though, from Rags or Riches at the beginning of this game, they have done a decent, not a phenomenal job at putting themselves into a comeback situation.
Some of these teams, we were asking, do you got what it takes to get your ticket onto the battle bus? What about the roller coaster this team's going through from down the mountain, across the rivers, over towards Naughty Nets? I think best case scenario, honestly, Taco, is it going south, continuing on towards that island. If it goes back on over to the west, this is going to be a nightmare for anybody that doesn't have mats, as Clicks is using the last little bit that he does have left, but he finds another elimination on the ping.
These perfectly timed rotations from Clicks, managing to find these players who are looking to just find that final push inward. But again, this is the beauty of being able to play from that backside of the zone. Still, Clicks have been trying to be careful, and we are getting a little glimpse here of a team that's momentarily on high. Whether or not Fishy and DNK are going to be able to hold this is a different question entirely, but for the time being, they look well situated to carry themselves into the top 10 at least.
Even though they have high ground now, they might have to wait for some of those teams below them to try to build that allow them to save some resources, save some mats as they make their way across the roster once more. Podesai, 131 below the damage threshold. Only a big pop to his name. So right now he's peeking through the cone. He's trying to just get as much information as possible. Where can I get this damage? The time is running out. He continues to fall well below that threshold as Savage picks up another elim. Vadil goes down, but it's actually Epicwell who falls to Mr. Savage, trying to keep himself alive. Storm Surge isn't a worry, but it's the HP, it's the zone that's pulling away.
So unfortunate though, Savage gonna be unable to do anything in terms of helping out the deal. Simply has to watch wait, continue their run. That flopper, though, along with the crash pads, does a great job placing him into the zone. Mr. Savage moving through all the traffic, eating shots as well, but doesn't care in the slightest. He's just continuing to push forward. He's making his own path through.
It's not going to be the most healthy anybody in the lobby can be, but he's definitely going to give himself enough wiggle room to work with. His click's now going to be a solo. Probably one of the more prolific solo players in the game. He finds a knock on the head, but unable to finish it up. He gets taken out by Podesai.
Podesai as well.
Questo
The
come
fact that
team
he's
pure
managed to
buona,
stay
2-2
this far into the game
alla
as a
fine è riuscito a
solo,
danneggiarne
you
qualcuno
just
questo.
know
Sono al
that
zero.
he's going absolutely insane right now, trying to keep the run alive. Rocket Rams as well, destroying so many builds in the process. These players continue to rotate through, but that materials refresh is going so
Guarda come si
far.
muove la
It's actually
tempesta
Bryce and
adesso,
Chubbs now at the top of the lobby, but builds
E
running
loro sono
incredibly low.
arrivati.
Yeah, multiple top 10 performances in the major this year. I think Bryce and Chubbs are one of the teams that are falling under the radar. They're ready to make a statement, just like Komet, but he runs out of time, he runs out of space, he goes down as his Madness runs dry.
Perché lo spray purtroppo a quelle fasi
Nada.
perché lo spray tipo 3 o 5 quando per questa fase ti toglie 8.
The patience. It's so hard to be patient through all this chaos as well.
Guarda quanto è
So easy to get
piccolo
distracted and
adesso,
think, okay, this is the perfect time to strike, a drop
Comunque
down
Canada
from low
è per
ground here
arrivare
for
qui alla
Nada.
fine ha fatto
Recognize the
2
fact that
3
he's got some players directly
ieri non
above
era
him.
così.
Still
Ieri
has a couple of
difficilmente sono
mini shield
arrivati a
pushes he can
questo
utilize. Source, on the other hand, won't make it through. Cooper going absolutely nuclear with the back-to-backs here. Cooper just won't
Cooper raga,
Eh,
Cooper ha vinto raga, no,
È stato un secondo.
ah, quelli con la skin bella.
beh ce la devono far rivedere però.
Sì, avrebbero dovuto vedere un po'.
Ma
Avrebbero...
questa ha iniziato più veloce, no? Quella ieri era più di costa.
Game 1 did not disappoint in the slightest. Game 2, I expect to deliver all the same, if not more. As these teams, some of them getting a little bit of a taste of what that 50-50 contest is like at the start, but we definitely saw plenty of teams taking things relatively slow,
Anche se
really
loro
just
non
trying to prioritize their
trasmettono la
resources
diretta, ma
off
solo
rip,
i
but
loro
for
commenti,
FKS
valutazioni,
Adapter,
roba
they
niente.
want all of Kinjutsu to
Vabbè,
themselves.
loro-
Suns nearly eland on the drop, and yet Suns and Non just barely gonna manage to get out of this one.
It almost looks like they want to chase him down. They're over wondering,
Come
was
tigre.
that bush there before? Is that something
bene,
new?
questi
Shotgun
mi sa
fire
che-
Quello dei ragazzi
through,
stavamo
just a
vedendo
sliver
uno
of
che
HP
Copenaghen
left.
Global
Questi hanno
Finally
iniziato
gets
comunque,
knocked
è
down.
meglio...
Forget Luton when we could pick up these early game eliminations. That kind of leaves Anon all by himself, but luckily he was able to get across to the other side of Kinjitsu's crossing, but the timer is on. He only has a certain amount of time before he can get that reboot card back. Luckily, those Suns hasn't been fully eliminated just yet, so the timer actually hasn't started just yet.
But surely Anon knows Suns merely being toyed with at this point by Adapter and FKS. FKS will finish off that elimination.
Qua sotto.
Wants to collect
Perché
the
una
siphon
che è
and the
molto
4
piccola
elimination
per
points to go
fare
with
loop
it, but
per due
meanwhile,
squadre.
Hall of Whispers could definitely see some action here. Depends on how Yuma and Jamon actually want to play it out. Right now,
Comunque stiamo bene.
Yuma, Jamon doing their best to just try and get some materials going, because you can't really have a box fight if you don't have any boxes to build.
Yeah, and it looks like Moneymaker and Fanine not wanting to push up just yet. They're still getting things going, waiting for it to flow. Clicks and Epic well over on the other hand. Mega City, they had a phenomenal first game. They sit inside of the top 25 after one game. If they can keep this pace going, we will see them on the Grand Finals Championship Sunday. Only time will tell though, because they're actually split up right now. They are so far split to do different buildings of Mega City. Zazie and Aim, Batman, Muga, and Rapid are the two other teams. Nobody really wanted to push and contest just
Noi
yet,
saremmo
but
fortissimi.
Moneymaker and Fanine just end up going down low to the low ground, getting chased by Jamon and Yuma, backed up into a corner. Very little options to work with, and this is exactly what you were talking about. These bog fights, they need materials in order to be able to come out on top, because eventually, if you didn't farm up as much in the early game, you
Lui
will
non
run
tutti, però
out
giocano
quick,
tutti i
and that's when
giorni,
they'll
almeno
strike.
quel minimo di
It
ore.
seems as though
Sì,
Yuma and
amore,
Jamon, they've got their
In
prey
più lo giocano
perfectly
da anni,
trapped here.
già.
Fanai, Moneymaker This is
questo è
quite a
il
No,
sticky
no, no, il
situation.
punto è che
Backs
sì, arriva un punto
literally
perché non
against the
si può
wall
migliorare di
here.
più. Magari tu puoi migliorare
Might
la
have
tua
an opportunity.
strategia.
Ma io come ho
Wanamaker
detto,
does
noi
have
non
that
ci
rocket
vogliono
realm
almeno 4
available.
anni
Keep
per
in
fare
mind
solo,
the
ma
height that it can cover, but
noi
at the same time, Fnaina
avendo
as well. But they'll still be
iniziato
relatively
in
exposed
un'età
if they do try to
più
utilize these
avanzata
rocket
di
rams. There
che
is
noi non
still a
riveleremo,
chance that Yeman or Nula might
e
potentially
più
look to take
difficile
them out
è
here.
arrivare al loro livello. Non dico che è impossibile, ma devi
Nades
essere
trying to just at least
predisposto
sniff off some of the shields.
per arrivarci.
Not very
Non
many left in
arriverai
their
al
back
livello di
pocket.
essere
Snazy, Podesai over on the
il Pro
other
Premium.
side of the map. Looting up pretty safely. Not too many teams contesting them. Maybe one north of Shattered Slabs. You know, King and Phaser are over on towards their left in a double contestation on their south towards Relentless Retreat. And they're kind of using all the time that they have to their advantage, so that way they can have these safe rotations. That way they have an opportunity to play out. And they're going to be one of the first teams rotating out of that side. And Taco, I think we've seen this strategy before. HD and Hero might be doing something that only one region has
Che
done so
azione
far on the weekend.
memorabile.
Zagu and Beppo are
No, perché
somewhat
l'ha
of an
rapito, questo l'ha
inspiration,
rapito.
one might
Sì,
say,
noi.
as far as this
Io penso
strategy
che
is
lo fanno per
concerned.
portare il
I
suo
mean, you
loot.
can see
È
Bing
molto
trying to
intelligente.
crawl away here,
Nel
but
senso,
that's
tu
just
ti
not going to
sposti
be a
con il
possibility.
corpo e
The
porti
damage
tutta la
is
roba di
being
lui.
farmed. We talk about
Però
surge
perché lui lo
strategies
fa
all
e
the
non colpisce
time.
il nemico,
And hey,
scusate?
if it works, it
Perché non sono
works.
come te.
Io sto dando addosso.
Got to be able to capture the other one, but it does look like Gon was able to kind of
Secondo me non
get
l'avevo
his teammate
ucciso.
eliminated. No free search for you anymore. And he's hoping they
Però
move off that
bellissimo,
spot
nel
so that way
senso,
he can get the
è
reboot
molto
card back,
intelligente ma anche
get his teammate
rischioso.
back in the game like we
Però
saw so many times in game
esatto,
one.
no,
And we saw how
perché non solo
fruitful
per
it
quello,
was on those
perché tu
reboots.
sei un
They were able to
defenso.
get far into the game
In
and
un
kind of
momento
make
così
it
tu non
worth
puoi
their while to
costruire,
go
devi
for
prima
such a
reagire
risky
a
attempt at that.
assoltarlo
Kaizen and
e
Clement
reagire.
split up, looting up,
Però la cosa
safe
positiva
as
è
can
che
be,
c'hai la disponibilità
but
tutto quello
Hen
che c'hai
is doing the same thing, and nobody
Però
is
non
nearby,
sapevo che
at
fosse
least for
possibile
now, but the zone
saltare.
is going to force these guys
Quindi
over
quello si
towards
è
the
messo,
east,
il
maybe
coso
a
che gli
little
si
bit towards
apre
the
l'aria
north,
sul
eventually
lato.
they're going to run
Io
quando
into
salta
some
da un
problems.
fiore
Hey,
dopo
look, we
qualche
talk
cosina ha
all the
fatto
time
e
about
quindi
players
vado
splitting off from each other, looking for opportunities.
Bisogna
One might be
saperlo che si può
prioritizing
fare
farming out
per
resources, the other
e quello l'ha
looking to
provato.
try and
Esatto.
secure as many surge tags as possible.
Quello
But when
un
you
giorno ho
are
detto
this
ma
far
se io
apart from your
saltassi
duo, you
funziona
have to
e l'ho
be
fatto.
certain that you are not going to have some unexpected companies spring up on you, because if that's the case and you're not able to actually provide that backup that you would like, it could be a very quick downward spiral
Anche
before you have a chance to recover.
non avevi
King and Phaser, on the other hand, though, they're just looking to stick together. Death and Tahi, looks like they wanted this fight.
It's a bird, it's a plane, no. It's just Death and Tahi trying to go up and over King and Phaser. Didn't work out. They land right at the top of that mountain along with them. Shots going through the build for Phaser. Him and King, they've already had their chance yesterday to qualify. And not very many people get these second chances, and they're hoping to not waste it and let it dwindle away. And they're actually separated. They're almost box to box with their opponent with very little space in between. And this is where the strategy, formulating some sort of a plan, maybe a little bit of a bull rush to try to take them out while they're separated, while the strength in numbers is high.
This goes for both duos. You can't get too distracted and tunnel in on one unless you are certain that your time to elimination is going to be fast. Other teams already starting to take note of this battle that started to break out just outside of Shattered Slabs. And for Death and Tahi, King and Phaser, well, they got a couple more problems than just each other to deal with right now.
Non lo so.
All around the map, players are trying to rotate
Ma non è così.
to some high elevated positions, grab their spot in zones, so that way they can look back, try to hold people out. And already you're seeing where these players are positioned at, towards the northeastern side of the zone. They're kind of hoping it goes over towards Brutal Bastion. Maybe even Sanguine Sweets, something that they can work with so they can hold their spot and gatekeep these players out. But Pixie, you can see him just putting some shots, not finding too much success, but he's not giving up very many shots either. But Vico is down. Now it's Pink's turn to try to hold 10 toes down. Nice shot, nice knock.
l'ha preso col piccone.
The mistake has happened, but he makes up for it.
No, però l'ha battuta, però l'ha battuta.
A whole nother team hot on their heels, not wanting to let anybody survive in this position. This is what you call a phenomenal third party, but Pink wastes no time trying to disengage. He's trying to get out, and you realize Shalom and MK Papa, they're not going to be on the chase. They're just going to get the spoils of this battle and collect all that loot as if it was their own.
Pink definitely already got what he was looking for, though. Vico's
Almeno
really
i momenti più belli, uccisioni o azioni di una rilevanza importante.
Quello proprio, perché noi non le vediamo tutte le decisioni, ma loro le fanno.
Vabbè,
Quindi noi qualcuna ce la perdiamo, allora dovrebbero fare queste cose.
possiamo dire che all'FNCS non c'è un regista buonissimo.
And as far as polarized and censored are concerned, again, it's
sulla
not
vostra
uncommon to
per
see players
modalità ci
willing to
vuole
just
100
look for these
persone
surge
che
tag
stanno
opportunities,
monitorando
build
come
up
gioca l'uno
a
e come
little
gioca l'altro.
tower temporarily close to their initial
Sì.
drop spots,
Non è
try and see
che-
if they can tag anybody else who might be in the middle of their
E
loop
quindi
path.
una persona che monitorea,
as far as polarized is concerned,
monitorea ogni
well, there's a
giocatore
bush at the top of a
e ogni
building, and you
uccisione
know
che
that
fatta
building's not initially
faccia un
supposed to be
clip
there,
lo monti
Jacob.
su
Players
una
are usually
piattaforma
gonna
che ti
box
lo
around
pubblica sul
themselves
sito.
while actually moving.
Non lo so, è
At least,
complesso.
you know, they're sticking to the game plan. They know teams got to rotate their position.
Cioè,
eventually.
per un'organizzazione di professionisti è possibile farlo pagando le
Effettivamente non hanno avuto l'idea.
His teammate doing
Perché
the
non ci
same
vuole
thing.
niente per
They
loro
get
farlo,
themselves
visto che non
a
hanno un
sliver
gioco
of
così,
the
non ci vuole
zone
niente.
just on the
Visto che
edge.
fanno
They
comunque
can
un
easily
evento
move
così
forward,
molto
try to get more
dispendioso, questa
position
non è una cosa
inside, so that way they don't fall
chissà
behind everybody else in a lobby like this. That's not what you want to do.
Sì,
Down
no,
goes
ma
River.
comunque
Skid's trying to make up for it. His
a certo
teammate's very
punto
low
si può
HP.
fare,
He's trying to
nel
give him
senso
time to
che
breathe. The elimination
per
and the
esempio
siphon's going to go
all'inizio
through.
che la
It goes
partita
to
non è
Skids, who
troppo
already
mossa
was
si
full
può
health.
fare per
River's
esempio
trying to
al
battle
fine,
back with
che
a
la
little bit of the
partita è
high ground, but
un'uccisione
he
tra
goes
live dà
down
impossibile.
all the
Fine
same.
no, alla
Skids
fine
and
no,
Sora
in
are
questi
able to stay
momenti
on
qui
top in that exchange, and now they get
Però no, questo
so
numero
much loot for
139
their
che cazzo è?
efforts.
penso
Final
le cose che ho
eliminations, by the
costruito.
way, already
Che cosa?
20
No,
points
le costruzioni
collected
che puoi
for
fare.
Skits and Sora. If you add
Ah,
that
ok.
with a relatively decent
Quante
placement,
costruzioni
and
puoi
these
fare? Nel
guys could
senso,
be
un muro,
having
un
the
tetto?
game
Sì, sì, sì.
to
Quanto
really
gli
put
rimane?
themselves on
Esatto.
the
Di
leaderboard. But the
possibilità.
fact that they've
Esatto.
already seen so much action, I'm curious as to how well it's going to translate in terms of how well they're going to be able to prioritize their positioning, because you have to expect that their surge damage is definitely well above the threshold.
Yep, and phenomenal performance to start this day. Didn't really go their day yesterday, but if at first you don't succeed, you try again. Bully and Shadow, you saw them kind of contested. You can see that North America has won 4 of the 6 matches played this weekend. NA is showing that maybe it's not as EU strong as it once was at the Invitational, but this is only the first 2 days. We haven't received or played in the grand finals on Sunday just yet. Things can change because we know the EU region likes to go ahead and VOD review. They like to practice. They like to save some of those secrets, if I may say so myself.
Così si è
Still,
potuto inquadrare per
definitely
un po',
looking
avuto
like
sorte
a
in
decent
vittoria
amount of
e poi non
animals
si vede
for
mai.
the time being, and kind of Majors hoping to keep that trend going.
Sì, così
Keep in mind, their day one certainly did not go the way that they would have hoped by any means.
mentalmente.
But the fact that they've even made it this far is already a testimony to the fact that day 2 was definitely looking better than yesterday's.
You can see how well it's going for them. This time around, Kanata and Agers off the drop, uncontested, but quickly moving around. With the zone pulling towards the east side yet again. It's only a wonder what happened and why they made an opposite decision of what they made last game. But I trust them. They're the ones who made it here. I'm the ones just in the stands. Kaizen and Clement, they're not too far off where Kanata and Agers once just were.
Volete,
They're trying to hope. I
volete
think
una
we're going to
birra
strategies as much
fresca?
surge as possible.
Andate al
Teams that are rotating in from
di
the south,
Roma
that are rotating from the western side.
in
And
via.
that way they could probably rotate later on in the game. They could probably be one of the
Bello
first ones
mettere
now
al
that they don't
posto
have
del
to worry
beep delle
about it.
parolacce
Now,
il suono di
they're
un
just getting their
tacchino.
loot cache, just trying to go ahead and shield up. They're ready for this next rotation. Azazi does go down the top of Mega
Va
City.
bene, questa
He
sta
gets
sulla grinda.
surrounded by both Source
In mezzo alla
and
tempesta,
Yumi.
deve fuggire.
And
Non lo
H1
farà
trying to
subito.
disengage. In the distance,
Non lo farà
another
subito
team
perché
on
ha
top
lo
of Mega
spray, ha
City just trying to
tutto,
get their
quindi
surge itself.
è
He has plenty
rilassato.
of heals to work with. My only worry is going to be that men miss the
Non ci ha fatto
HP
male.
because
No,
Zone
perché
is
si è
going to be
lanciato
pulling forward.
lungo
So
la
he
curva e
really
poi
has
l'ha
enough
lasciata.
time.
Quindi
For
gli è,
some
gli è
this
rimasta
array
la
of
cosa del
heals,
magnete.
though,
Siamo...
that aim just
Andava
keeps
più veloce,
conveniently
diciamo.
strolling through. You almost have to wonder if this was initially somebody
Non
else's
fai niente.
Vuole
base
andare a
center
curare
over Mega
alla
City. I
Zanzi.
mean, when you have several different teams that are choosing to prioritize landing there, you have to expect that players are going to be trying to accrue as many of those shield potions as
Però gli è morto
possible,
il
so that
compagno.
way they can
Ma
maintain
loro
a
quindi
good
non
height
possono
positioning
in alcun
to
modo
look for those
riavviare.
earlier
può
surge
riavviare,
tags,
ma
so
ho visto.
definitely convenient for aim. Not so much so here at the Creepy compound, though. Noxy, Crisp under a decent amount of
Non ho
pressure.
neanche proprio
And
cura.
down
Vanno
overview, but
avanti
it's going to be
proprio
Shalon and MK Papa.
Cioè, se tu ti
Perché loro sanno che se lui muore di chi riavviano
potrebbe risvegliare
perché
tutto
loro sanno che
questo.
sta in solo.
Picnic,
Sì,
just
sì.
buzzing around, just taking some damage, forcing them to kind of disengage off the fight that they
Vedi
were
che quando
trying to be the
smettono
aggressors
vengono
on.
buttati giù,
For Shalom and MK
i
Pop,
compagni
this is their
compagni
chance here.
sanno
They
che
have
se
the
vieni buttato
opportunity with
giù,
so many extra heals
il
there.
cavolo
They're
non
already in
me lo
zone.
so.
They can
Sì,
keep
l'altro
that base
scapperà
as theirs.
probabilmente.
Look elsewhere for Surge. Spot some teams trying to go
non
for
sono
Rift
niente,
Island. You
no.
saw them flying through the sky like majestic eagles. King and
Ma
Phaser are
perché?
trying to be one of the
Perché
first
pensa
ones
questo.
there. They almost get beat to the punch
Tu
by
lo
Moneymaker.
puoi
Moneymaker's
arrabbiare.
King.
Sì.
He's
Ma dopo
100% beat them to
Quello
the
del
prendere
punch.
nuovamente
Along with
lui
nine.
certo.
è un
Those two
casino.
probably not going to waste any
Non è come
time as
le
far
nostre
as trying
partite,
to
no?
actually base up
Qua è un casino prendere nuovamente
E
around
in
lui.
più
that
dai
capture point
comunque
on
una
the Rift
possibilità agli
Island.
altri
They'll
di
also have the
rifare una
convenience
kill
of being
in
able to
più.
get that overhead view of all these
Perché
teams
se lo
underneath.
riammazzano gli conta doppio
As far as
praticamente.
MK Papa is concerned,
Vero,
though,
l'altro è più
able to
debole, quindi
spot out
facilmente
the player across the way. It's going to be Miro. And Miro, Cooper, we saw them last time, kind of
Possiamo usare
hovering
un termine
around
che
this
già
Rift Island. They know that there's
mi
going
hai
to be
detto perché
a decent amount of players kind of taking note if we're basing it all off of how game one went so far. And with that in mind, Miro and Cooper,
Guarda è
they
bello
definitely were able to get some tags in the process.
attualmente che arriva
Nobody really
precisamente in modo che
this
ti
time
permette di
around.
conquistare.
Looks like it could be a possible
Questi
15
non hanno
free
fatto
points
niente.
for Moneymaker and Fnayan. They're going to secure that underneath their belt and all the loot that does come with
Beh,
it.
sono
And Basque were the other
un
team
bello
in game one to
sponsor
make that one
stampato
come
sulla
true. But
maglietta
this
questo.
time things have gone a whole different way.
Da quanto
They're
è
below the
pagato.
storm surge
Poi da
threshold,
loro, da Sky.
slowly falling farther down.
Allora possiamo
63
dire, sta
below
sulla
though with nice
televisione.
shots. I think Vasque, he got the
Stiamo
rocket
dicendo
ram out. He
qualcosa di
wants to
strano,
finish
ma
and clean
possiamo
up
dire
some
la
of those
marcia di
shots.
questa
But
birra
it's King and
buonissima.
Phaser over on the
Per
other
ieri
side.
sapete
He's
che ho
ready to have a
pubblicato quel
crash
video su
landing.
YouTube
First one goes in, second one lands
mi ha
right
detto
next to
c'è
him,
la
but a couple
pubblicità
of
alla
shots
Red
land onto him
a
on his
una
way
famosa
there.
bevanda.
That's going to slow things down just a little bit, and that could be a blessing in disguise for King and Phaser, because now they have a chance to stabilize.
That's the problem as well for
YouTube
him
mi ha
and
detto
Baz.
stai
I mean,
facendo
you spot a
pubblicità
great
a questa
opportunity to actually
famosa
look
Perché
for an
pensa
elimination
questo, una
process,
cosa è
and
che
yet
tu
on
vedi
the way
un'immagine,
over,
ma può
you're
essere che c'è qualcuno
immediately
che non lo
lit
sta
up.
vedendo.
There's
Ma
just no
sì,
such
c'è uno che
thing
lo sta
as a free
sentendo e te lo stai
rotation in
dicendo.
these types of
stai facendo
lobbies.
così.
Beh,
For King
abbiamo
and
fatto,
Phaser,
abbiamo fatto pubblicità, tanto non siamo pagati, a meno che
Esatto, quello è il punto, che prima ci pagano e dopo facciamo lo sponsor.
a meno che lo so, vabbè, è stato casuale, ma non siamo pagati da questi marchi, per cui il massimo che possono dirci è che siete tre noobs e mi fate cattiva pubblicità. Io solo i pro voglio che facciano pubblicità alla mia piattaforma o alla mia
Moneymaker
beta.
did find that angle. Like I said, it just takes some time for a player like him to try
Perché
to
prendi
heat up.
questo.
As Hen's now
Noi
stuck by
facciamo
himself,
la
luckily thing
pubblicità
for him
a
is he's
una
above the
birra.
damage threshold for now, but he
Noi siamo
knows
noobs,
that is
la
right
gente
around the
dice, ma
corner,
questi
going to be
bevono vino,
haunting him
bevono per
like it's
quello,
Halloween.
se tu
Check a
devi
little bit
avere
of
una
replay here. Way
energizzante.
trying to put the pressure onto both Bully and Shadow. Bully gets knocked first. That might even be 7-man trying to steal the loot away.
that is so tough for Bully and Shadow. They are just pincered between two separate teams. I mean, how are you really meant to box fight when you've got multiple directions that you have to be checking for against multiple teams? Definitely not the way that Bully would have hoped to go down, but as far as way,
Un anno
YKZ are
e
concerned,
mezzo
they're
in
definitely happy
inverno non fa
with
tanta
that
differenza.
collection of
Esatto,
elimination.
ma dirlo alla mia faccia.
Now continue trying to
No,
press
non è
their way
lui,
forward.
perché non te li vedi.
Seems that they're trying to avoid
Troppo buona autostima.
some other players in the process. Gotta be wary though at all
Quello
times.
sta bene.
Clicks in the epic well. Quickly rotating out of Mega City this time around, or at least in comparison to their competition that does land over on that side. Firing shots off into the distance. And then instantly
ci sono
closing the
anche
cover.
momenti
Doesn't want to get
teneri
caught out.
mentre
Even though he
questi si
wants Surge,
sparano.
he doesn't want to give up
Con
any
dei
free
berretti
Surge
di
either.
di
And you can see
Natale.
Pink, he escaped almost getting eliminated early on in this game, and he found a way to get Vico back, but it came as a cost, Taco. They're below the damage threshold when it comes to Storm Surge. Luckily for them, it's only 6. That is barely anything. They just got to breathe on another team, and now they're hot on the heels of Batman Booga. This is the opportunity that they're trying to take in order to climb above the threshold before they fall too far
Guarda che
below.
ieri ho
It definitely
sentito dei
won't take much
commenti
for
di loro
Pink
che
and Vico to
dicevano
get
troppa
themselves
lag.
above that damage threshold, but at the
Magari
same time,
lì
I'm looking more so
no,
at the
magari
può
materials.
essere perché
Not very many
comunque comunque problemi tecnici li hanno anche ad alto livello e possono capitare.
No, sì,
Quando c'è una diretta può capitare che
sì, ma è più probabile che sia un problema di
guardate quanti problemi stanno avendo adesso, per esempio, hanno tutto
Posso credere che a loro che va
guarda
che sia più
nessuno
il problema di questo software, come quando noi rivediamo il video che va a scatto, capito? Io penso che sia
però
più
guarda che essendo una cosa di indiretta capita che stiamo sempre parlando di computer e tutti i computer anche e soprattutto in diretta possono avere
sì,
dei fallimenti.
no, ma è più probabile che ci sia un problema nella rete. È più probabile perché è una cosa che tu non puoi controllare. Ma un computer tu le metti nei requerimenti che ci sono, un computer non ti fallerà mai.
Però aspetta, non ti fallirà mai perché i programmi sui computer crashano anche per dei bug interni, per dei problemi interni che non hanno niente a che vedere con la bontà del computer.
Sì, ma quello sì.
Quindi purtroppo può succedere. Immagina che questo succeda in un torneo, sia un problema di rete che un problema di...
Sì, ma Riccardo, qua è molto più probabile che sia un problema di rete perché se l'internet non lo puoi controllare come va. Però come è composto il computer, le prove te le fanno prima, quello sì. Quindi è molto più probabile che sia un problema di rete sulla trasmissione solita oppure un problema di rete che magari è il ping, perché qualcuno si sale tantissimo che gli va là.
Immagino la trasmissione.
Ma in realtà in teoria loro lì stanno giocando a zero di ping perché è una rete interna chiusa, dove loro giocano solo contro loro e c'è una captatora che trasmette questo a tutti. E quindi in realtà non si può dire la rete di loro è saturata, no? È una rete per 100 giocatori e basta.
There's definitely some pretty good stuff here. Saw them talking about it earlier on socials. They're going to put Oshi on the map.
Per loro lì locale, quindi tutti stanno nella stessa situazione, quindi non può esserci uno qui fai, cioè un pin diverso dall'altro, capito?
No bueno. Ooh, Storm Surge and Mr. Savage and Vidil targeting them together. Daptor's gonna fall. FKS just using as much heals as he can, but Vidil and Mr. Savage, they don't want to let these 4 points and all that loot go
No, ma
out of
questo
their way.
momento è
They're trying to
veramente
push themselves into the box, leave no
inizia a
option for their
essere
opponent. He's doing what he can to dance around. The elimination is going to go through regardless.
Perché hanno la tempesta che altrimenti gli fai danni, quindi giusto spara perché
dovevano assolutamente fare qualcosa.
Try to get themselves back up to tip-top shape, and they're going to need it. This rotation is going to be far. We're going over towards the side of Brutal Bastion. For some teams that are already there, it's going to be easy. Everyone else, good luck to you.
Working your way up elevation is certainly pretty dangerous type of pathway. Snazy and Podesai though, they look like they're set in a decent spot for the time being. Crash Pad gonna take them a little bit further in. Coming up on the backside here of Duke and Fishy. Just keeping in mind some of the teams that they're working their way behind. Podesai and Snazy, it looks as though they want to get aggressive here, but instead Podesai has to rethink, doesn't want to use that crash pad forward just yet after taking such huge damage from behind.
Goes for a cheeky edit, bounce pad junior play, it costs him a lot of HP along the way. Daisy, who didn't have any bounce pads,
Immagina
choosing
questa
to
che
use the first
terra
of
ed
3
è
rocket
tutto
rams
intorno.
to try to find
Se
the
ne
safe spot
accorgono
in the
le
zone.
tutti
quelli
This
sanno
could
che
be
sta
a good
succedendo.
call for
No,
them as
guarda le
Podesai
costruzioni
finally
che può
catches
fare,
up.
vedi
The loot is going to be
costruzioni.
dished around, but you can see the last
Aspetta
of their
una
heals. They
quantità di
are
materiali.
running low, so for them, a refresh is imminent. It is going to be needed. We see Agers by himself as well below the threshold. Kanata fell not too far, not too long ago. But there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders, pressure that he's felt before in their major run, trying to capitalize on it. But time is running out. Storm Surge doing so much damage. He's going to be in the same position as the other teams that we've seen. He's using a lot of heals
deve fare un
just
danno
to stay
altrimenti non
alive.
uccide.
Even if it's not Storm Surge, that's Daisy and Podesai on the other side.
Storm Surge seems to be Ager's biggest opponent right now because as long as he's given the opportunity to connect, those shots are going to put him exactly where he needs to be. Just a
bruttissimo che
moment
sta
of
andando
relief
verso-
here with
guarda.
23 above. Roman replay also going to take him in decent ways with that
Perché
sword
vuole colpire
sprints, and
qualcuno
again, Agers
assolutamente, vuole
just barely
metterti
managing
subito
to
nella
catapult
condizione
himself to
di
the front side of the zone, but
No, lui si
is
sta
a great
avanteggiando
opportunity
sulla
now for
prossima
him to
zona.
just look for that brief moment of
Però deve
reset.
fare danno.
Looks to try and catch
Quasi.
Rapid off guard, but it doesn't just work out in his favor.
And you can see Rapid by himself. Batman Booga went down, so he's going to be a solo. There's actually 6 solos in the game as of now who lost their teammate. And they have the world on their shoulders to try to make something out of this game. Rapid and QNDX aren't going to be one of them. They're a full-on duo. They've been playing well so far in this game. 1 elimination. The rest is going to be placement points. But as this one goes on, those placement points are going to continue to rack up. We're only into the top 22.
Distruggere, perché anche se ce l'hai non ti puoi mettere lì a spamare. Quindi devi per forza uccidere e raccogliere quello che ti hanno lasciato per poter avere qualcos'altro.
Well, this underbelly type of play over here at the Brutal Bastion. Podesai now looking to work his way through these builds.
Questo c'ha 0.
Only has this heisted accelerant to work with.
Non può costruire, deve per
Action
forza
lands the
ammazzare.
shots, gets the enhanced effects, but
Gioca a 0
just keeps it
costruzioni.
moving instead. Doesn't want to stick around for too long. Doesn't
Ah,
want to
perché
risk
ecco, è entrato nella casa proprio per
He just wants the tags, he just wants the
recuperare
damage,
un minimo
because
di...
that's gonna buy him more time.
I feel like I got deja vu all over again. Podesai, solo, going into the end game. He made something of it in that last go around. Can he repeat? 164 above the damage threshold as well. Not too much to worry about when it comes to that part of it. It's all about staying alive. You don't want to run into the wrong duo. Maybe one that's on the other side of that
pensa
storm surge
rapido, nel
threshold.
senso
He knows so many
trova la
other
migliore
teams are below
strategia
him.
nel
They're on top and
momento
everything.
in
And
cui
look,
tu ti
this
trovi.
is almost like a repeat. Price and
Per-
Chubb on the
cambia
high ground
repentinamente
yet
la
again.
migliore
They said it's
strategia.
simple. They said it's easy and they're ready to prove it be.
Nobody else is going to try and challenge for high. Bryson Chubb would be all too
allora
happy to
sarebbe-
take it.
Guarda che
Rapid
c'hanno
gonna be one of the
c'hanno
first to
3
fall
kill.
here. Clean
Uno di
elimination
quelli
there for
abbiamo
Rapid, and now
3
Podesai
kill.
Se
continuing
questi
to try to work
riuscissero a
back up, but
vincere
so
anche
much
questa,
fire being applied to his build. He's down to just his last 2 remaining. He needs a refresh of some sort.
diciamo che ti mettono in una, esatto, si mettono in una posizione molto molto
Half of those points come when you
avvantaggiata
reach top
rispetto agli
10.
altri.
The other half are in the top 10. Podesai's just trying to get as many as he can, but he goes down. That's Clicks. That's Epic Well. Find the elimination. Clicks gets knocked. Epic Well knows to try to go ahead without him, but a misplay on the bounce pad. He falls as well, but at least they got some points for their efforts. Consistency is key, but it's Agers as the solo who was able to find that elimination and keep him in
perché loro sono in
alive
una
within
condizione
contention of
rispetto
that
agli
top
altri, guarda come
25.
sono
We're talking about consistency, and right now for Bryson Chubb, so far they're consistently holding on to that high PX in. Ketos trying to tart through
gli altri sono
some of these secondary
concentrati
high
su fare
layers.
uccisioni
So
nel
far,
livello
haven't managed to encounter anybody
base.
just yet. Agers, though, breaks through the build, and he doesn't want to find himself behind. That's going to be an elimination. Credit to Shalom, is now PH in. Ketos try to tuck their way forward, crash pad, get a shot up on height, but it's not enough to actually break anything or knock down Bryce.
Yeah, but they're one of the few teams that sees what's going on above. They can easily try to make that a target if it's something they want to do. Quanti and TK, you heard him qualifying in that last game, but it was a big clutch by Quanti trying to keep that show on the road. Reason goes down, Jen is trying to make up for it. Elimination's going to be found, runs out of build, runs out of map. That's not
Infatti
who's
tutte
going to be
le
able to
kill
take him
o
down.
quasi sono concentrate in questo
Quanti e
momento
TK.
della partita, perché
They
in
seem to
maniera
have found a
velocissima.
slight gap.
in un attimo la tua
else
partita si
Quite
decide.
discovering them just
Wow.
yet. PH in and Ketos, though,
Sono
they
riscesi,
managed to make a
No,
resurgence
no,
for
stanno
the
ancora
high
sopra, c'era
ground.
questo plan.
Lixie and Cheatin down below on the opposite end of the spectrum. They're still forced to deal with some of the congestion that remains.
Bryce and Chubbs have a chance. Brute win from the high ground, win from the low ground as Pixie takes down P8 Sin. Saving
Ma
that
che
siphon
down
for
perché l'ha
later.
fatto
Now
malissimo,
it's
quello
going
si
to
è
come in
messo la
handy.
tempesta.
As soon as somebody else does eliminate it, that is going to be TK who cleans that one up. Only one player here left as a solo. Quanti going around, goes for the high ground. That's Ketos, the final solo. He gets dropped in the palm of his hands.
No!
Ma lui ha il random, sta ancora il random, non è detto.
Top two situation with Cheatin and Pixie. Being our final duo left alive.
Sono 2 contro 1,
Ketos, on the
raga.
other hand, used that early high ground to his
Sì,
advantage,
la
but it
tempesta
only
hanno
lasts
vinto.
for so long. Cheatin and Pixie take
Stavano
the
per
game.
vincere la di
What
nuovo,
a way
quelli.
to state your victory royale.
This is officially the halfway point. Game 3, where teams will have their backs up against the wall if they don't reach inside of that top 25 or as close as humanly possible. I say humanly, though, because some of these guys are playing like they're robots. They're like insane out of this world.
And hey, for some of these teams, keep in mind, entering game number 3, the cutoff threshold right now for that top 25 is looking to be 36 points. There is a decent amount of ground to cover, and game number 3 would be the perfect opportunity to try and find your place on the leaderboards if you haven't already.
Yeah, quick to the punch. Moneymaker getting one side, mini bastion, getting some minis. He at least got a silent pistol. You see the shield getting boosted up, the turrets getting tossed down. That's at least going to give them information if they cross any one of those paths. Moneymaker cuts off the launch pad, doesn't let them go anywhere. Shots are getting fired in from multiple angles, and Moneymaker strikes first. Even with the shield turrets doing so much damage, he's able to do what he can, but it's blocked off. They went for it again. J-Mod getting trapped. It doesn't matter what help you have on your side. Moneymaker comes out on top.
200 to place those cones preemptively. The moment that Moneymaker saw J-Mod make that initial escape, he was like, it's not happening again. Just a beautiful cutoff that leads to 2 easy eliminations there. I mean, when a duo self-isolates, well, what else are you really left to do? And Fanai Moneymaker making the most of that opportunity.
You can see Suns and Anon changing it up yet again. Said enough flying past Kenjutsu. We're ready to take it over as their own. But FKS and Adapter, they have a little bit of elevation. Things are working out just as they planned up until this point. A little bit more loot towards the top, even finding the Sharp Tooth, breaking through the walls, possibly trying to cut off their path, so that way, even if they do try to escape, there's nowhere to go. They all had see each other there. Suns repositions. Anon does not, though. He gets caught off guard, but he's trying to draw them in. The turret there to spot him out. At least his position is going to be known. Suns doing what he can. He's trying to burst through those builds, but Adapter is there for the bait and switch. He gets spotted out as well.
Non ha giocato nel primo giorno, nel senso solo 4 dei team nella top 10 hanno giocato nel primo gioco. Gli altri 6 sono tutti già erano qualificati per il secondo gioco.
Hey, as far as Kenjutsu Crossing is concerned,
Immagino
that's not going to go
un po' faccia
Oshi's way
confusa
in the
la devo
slightest
rifrasare.
here. Opposite side of the map,
Dei
though, at
10
Single
top
Suites,
al momento nella
Peterborough
classifica,
recognizing the
sì,
fact that they're under a
la
little
classifica
bit
di
of
oggi, che
pressure
è quella generale di
from
oggi,
that mountain just
solo
north of
4
Little Bastion.
team provengono da
Again, for
ieri.
Peterborough, Viola, you have to
Infatti,
consider,
quindi ci
Peterborough's been
sono
talking
perché
all week. Top
sono
25, that's
classificati
the
già
easiest
a
thing in the
domani.
world.
No,
But
no,
we're here in the lower
la
bracket,
statistica è
and it's not looking that easy to actually be
di
in the top
quelli di
25.
ieri
Yeah, they've already pushed that one
che
team
hanno
off,
che
trying
si
to
sono
get
classificati
Sandwich
per
Suits as
oggi,
their own, but a fight that we saw that
solo
last time
4
goes a
sono
whole
nella top 10
different way. Chris
attualmente.
Finoxi able to take down P8 Sin, leaving Kitos by
È
himself.
un'informazione che è
And if
confusa.
this has any indication, any sort of resemblance towards that last game, it's
Quindi
no
comunque stanno giocando
worries.
tutti quelli di
Kitos
ieri,
is
no?
as
Non lo
strong
so,
as can be.
questo
He already
non
picked
era
up a
incluso in
second
questa
place by
informazione.
himself.
Questa
And since it's
informazione
so
dice
early on in the
solamente
game,
non stanno
there's so
giocando,
much
ma
opportunity
nel
for him to go
senso, la
back,
top
get that
10
reboot
metti i
card, get his
contagi di
teammate
quelli che
back
hanno
up,
giocato
because it's already
ieri e
happened
quelli che
countless
hanno
times on the
giocato
day
oggi.
so far.
Solo 4 di quelli
But
ieri sono
also,
nella
as
top
far as
10 di
Kitos and
oggi.
P8 Zen are concerned, they've
Beh, tanto,
built
solo
themselves
4.
a pretty
Stanno
surmountable
pure nella top 10 di
amount of
oggi.
points here.
4 di ieri.
4 di
Heading
ieri,
into
ma
4 di
game
ieri
number
hanno
3, they
riempito
had
quasi il
138.
50% della top
Were
10.
leading in that
Devi
second place
pensare
position
anche
on the
che qua
leaderboard, have to
mancano
consider them
ancora 3
relatively
partite.
safe
Yep.
as far as their spot in
Comunque
that
per il
top
momento è
25 is
alta
concerned.
come
So
ma è più alta,
maybe not
quella
as
molto
much
più alta,
pressure there on
60-40,
Taquitos as far as
quella
whether or
di
not he'll be able to
quelli
get
già
that reboot off
classificati per
onto
oggi.
P8 Zen. For a team like Noxie and Chris,
Sono
that's
leggerlo anche così,
just
essendo
another
solo
4
2
points to get them that much closer.
Yeah, yesterday we saw 25th qualify with 91 points. Can't say that's going to be exact here today, but at least they have some sort of goal to achieve. Anything is definitely possible. And you saw to start the game off that it was both Wixie and Curb on the other side, putting some shots down over towards Sanguine Suites. But now the tables have turned. They try to get aggressive, but it's the angles from both Cheatin' and Pixie. The game number 2 winners that are trying to chop him down to size. You see Pixie trying to go in, but he gets pressured as well. Everything comes to a standstill momentarily, waiting for somebody to make the big move, but hopefully it's not a misstep. They're separated. This might be the saving grace for both Kirby and Wixie, because they're two players that are two different regions. As the shots get fired off, he's ready to finish this fight, breaks into the box, and takes down Cheatin'. This is what we came to see. A duo from two different regions coming together to make one. And already coming out on top. Another shot, that backs Wixie
Quasi
down.
ucciso.
Wixie, though,
Vendetta.
will finally
L'ha
get
ucciso.
knocked. Siphon going
E
to
quell'altro?
be immediately taken there by
Sì,
Kirby,
sì.
though, with another massive
Dovevo
shot
vendicarlo,
off
ma
that
questo
sharp
staggio
teeth.
mo rivendica
Keeps
l'altro.
pressuring inside the box. Pixie down to 1 HP.
Porca
Kirby
troia.
low enough as well. He actually thinks better
No,
of the
doveva
immediate push
ucciderlo.
in. Whoever
Poteva
comes out on
farlo.
top here
Guarda.
might just have the
Guarda come
opportunity
l'aveva
for that
lasciato.
reboot card,
Sì,
reboot
ma
opportunity, but Kirby
sembra
faring
che siamo
certainly
ma
significantly
un
better than
passo
Pixie for the time being.
mazza
No,
qualsiasi
Pixie able to find the
Non è una
resources he
parolaccia
wanted
perché
as
sta
far as
seguendo.
materials are concerned. These resources taking
Sì, un
him
po' un passo,
so
cioè,
far.
e loro
And
avevano la
Kirby
vita
just
una vita. Questo
unable
aveva una vita e l'altro
build
aveva
up right
10, ma
away.
un po'.
Non si può dire
He
neanche un passo.
knows
Ma un
that he only has a limited
pompasso
amount of
era
time to
abbastanza
work
per
with
ammazzare.
Non è
here
una trasmissione
before his opposition
pornografica.
starts trying to close in himself.
Ah, un pompa.
You see him taking his
Quello è un
time.
pompino.
Try to
Quello è un
pick some
pompino.
augments,
Non
seeing if
applica.
anything helps him
Non
in this
applica.
exchange.
Relatively even though,
Yeah.
health-wise.
Un pompasso, un
And actually, no.
pompino.
Curb
Io
had,
pompasso
even though,
non
yeah,
esiste,
so the
guarda.
relative
Esatto,
even
io
health
secondo
wise,
me.
Un
but
colpo
Kirby at the bottom has
feroce
materials,
ma
he
di
has
fucile
the
a
extra
pompa, un
heals.
colpo
Ma
feroce.
questo
So
è
if he wants to
stupido,
try
non
to
un
build up and
pompaso.
take this,
Un
drain Pixie
pompaso,
dry
un
in terms of
pampero, un
materials, that
pampero.
could be good, but you see over towards the right side, Sanguine Sweets. That's
No,
Peter
raga,
Buck
questa
by
battaglia è
law.
stata
They
bellissima.
look
Vero,
on
Lui
over
che
quello
to
che
uccide il
fa
Phoenix,
Pino.
personaggio A della
that's a
squadra
possible
2,
third-party
il
opportunity for
personaggio
them.
B della
Maybe
squadra
even two
2 uccide il
eliminations.
personaggio
So
A della
they
squadra
have to
1
be
e il
careful
personaggio
which way
2
they
della
travel
squadra
across
1
this
che tenta di
mountain. But
uccidere
just like
quindi
that,
il
Kirby is
personaggio
going to
2
be the
della
first one to
squadra 2.
try to
Tra A,
disengage.
B,
Got
C,
the
1
reboot
e
card.
2.
Trying to
C non
stay
l'ho
alive
detta.
so that way he can get
Tra
his
A,
teammate
B,
back in the
1 e
game.
2.
Because we talked about
Chi ha
strength
vinto?
in numbers is
Nessuno di
huge
due
in
deve
Ora
this
la
fare un
domanda
tournament.
per chi ci segue
Sono ancora
Decent
vivi
tag
tutti
there
e
from
due?
Pixie, but it is
In
going
questa
to give
configurazione
Kirby
che
a
lei ha
decent
detto.
indicator.
Sono vivi i personaggi 2 della squadra
A
Kirby
o B?
tutte e due.
seemingly trying to farm out even
Quindi
more
tu che sei
resources.
confuso.
It's clear that Kirby
Adesso
would like
benissimo
to
quello
go
che
for
devo dire.
disengage, probably recognizing the fact that that pressure from Sanguine Sweets might come sooner rather than later, but we're talking about pressure here at the Creaky Compound. Sorif and
Sorry,
Skits, they're dealing with a
Sorry per
good
essere
chunk
così bravo.
of aggression out of Raru and Greedy.
See, it's pausing
Poi è
for a
Sorry,
moment.
invece a te ma è
Rightfully so.
Sorida.
You said slap dab in the middle of Creaky. There's so many teams around them, even more pushing in. They are on the edge of zone.
Guarda
So
che t'hanno
you
visto
have
lo
to be very,
stomaco.
very careful. And I think they know that. And that's why things have come to a halt.
Quelli che
If
ci
they make that
seguono.
wrong move, it might not be even the original opponents that
Un
were
po'
fighting
vedremo anche
that
là.
does the brunt force of that damage. And it continues to kind of push towards the east this time around. But instead of the north, it has a southern lean when it comes to the zone.
Che sono sul divano a
So
non
they
fare
realize
niente.
their journey
Non c'è
does not
venuto
stop
sonno.
here. We want to get as close to
Perché
it
ti
as
prendo il computer
possible.
così giochi qua.
But sometimes in this game, Taco, you have to wait for opponents to begin that rotation before you can try to escape yourself.
As far as rotations are concerned, though, for Pixie, seems as though he's willing to take his time here on that mountain just north of Brutal Bastion. The problem at this point, though, Jacob,
stanno a
definitely
fare?
starts to become just how
Nessuno,
much
poi.
time is really worth investing here.
Questa partita
Because
è stata piena
It seems
d'azione
as though Kirby
per un
is
po'. Ah,
definitely
vedi,
cool
hanno
with
messo
just
in
letting this go
L'hanno messo
through
Ma
and
questi stanno
disengaging
sempre.
entirely.
Questi ci stanno. No, di
But I guess
solito
we
ci
do
sono
have to
dei
listen in to get more
forzieri,
insight for as to how the players are
Anche
really
quelli.
thinking.
Maybe we can sneak on Billy.
I'm down.
Shall I come now? Get this last?
Yeah.
Okay. He was here. Come.
Yep.
Run. This is all like. On me. 40. I'm crowdfunding on him.
Yeah, I'm on you.
Ah, no.
Going for right side.
Cracked him. Dead.
Come frega.
Nice, bro.
Don't worry.
Prego.
Got him.
Nice find by both
Esatto.
Pink and
Sono io.
Biko to take down one. And that's a team. When they went down in game 5 yesterday, they were in 24th place. They were forced to watch every team that got into that top 25 pass them and send them down to the lower bracket. King and Phaser, they're trying to have a second chance at life. Skits and Sorf is another one. Yesterday, definitely wasn't their day. Today is a whole new chapter in their story, and this is one that I'm excited to see finish. But they're still stuck around both Greedy and Raru. Neither team really able to rotate just yet. And I think when push comes to shove, at least Greedy does have that rocket ram to try to get out of a tight spot. But if Raru doesn't have one himself, that could be possibly why they're waiting for the moment that the players above them try to rotate first. And everybody in this position is going to have to rotate because we get another far pull to the east side. So this is going to be huge.
At the same time, though, you can tell that Skits and Soar, if they want a piece of the action, if they can make it happen, they know that their surge strategy has definitely been difficult to come by. So 1 or 2 eliminations right now would put them in an excellent position to just prioritize positioning. Rotations can just be so make or break at this stage of the game, especially when you factor in that there are going to be teams throughout the match looking to acquire those forecast towers that have been such a huge help as well.
You saw that stat that popped up, 1st and 25th, the exact same amount of points through these 2 matches as they were yesterday. And if that continues, you got to look at that threshold from when they qualified. 25th yesterday in the upper bracket, had 91 points. So that's the threshold they're looking to come close to, even past, to give themselves the best chance to reach our Global Championship final. First place is $1 million split between 2. That's more than enough money even I know what to do with.
Well, it depends on who you're asking.
True, I might just buy food, $1 million worth of food. Noxy Chris trying to rotate away, and then Basket trying to make up for that last game. At least they have the Rift Island underneath their belt from game 1, giving them a 15-point boost. You just have to try to continue that pace. They've done more than enough work in the first half.
Sometimes it really feels like nobody wants to be the first person to shoot. When you can tell that there are so many other teams surrounding you, the moment that you sound off shots, it just draws so much unwanted attention. And then you have to split your focus. And how many times already have we seen teams where they try to separate a duo? Maybe they're temporarily successful, but even with that circumstance on the mountain north of Brutal, but more on that later, because right now, Skit, Sora, if we're talking about them, wanting to get a little bit more active here. Shot not going to connect in the way that they would have hoped. Mavinato primed, ready to go here for Skits. He looks to reposition, wants the high ground over Raru and Greedy. Crouch walking, just seeing what he can come across here. Greedy, Raru. Got to be suspecting of who's going to drop into their box. Mavinato, shots are firing, but it's going to be Sorif.
No, li hanno uccisi! Maurizio è perso.
More than enough, and a nice, quick and clean
Gli hanno distrutto il tetto, li sono entrati dentro, ha cominciato a sparare, quei 2 gli hanno sparato a lui, ma nel frattempo è arrivato anche il compagno che quindi ha finito.
Trying to go for Rift Island, DMK taking some damage. And that's the thing, even though there's a lot of elevation, a lot of line of sights over on the top of Rift Island, for the players that are in the distance, for the ones that did build their surge base, that also allows them to go for those shots onto you on that Rift Island. So far, nobody really contesting it, maybe one team nearby thinking about it. But I don't think that one's going to come to fruition, so for them, it is going to be a free 15 points, a whole lot of loot on top of that as well.
Perché dal momento in cui quello ha iniziato a distruggerlo, loro dovevano già essere pronti a...
Maybe catch wind to players like Savage and Medeal. We've got their split bases right now. Not too far off from their initial dropping point as Medeal, Savage, or at least for Medeal's concerns, he seems like he's more primarily interested on trying to get some tags in on these teams in Mega City. And I like this approach though from Savage and Medeal because they're both trying to just focus in on 2 separate angles to attack towards that high ground territory for teams that are trying to base up on some of these buildings here in Mega City.
Che tu vedi sullo schermo e dove si sta muovendo la gente. E sono lì passi, io chiamato non possono vedere.
Staying consistent, but at least they got a ton of the hard work out of the way. MK Papa and Shalom. Kind of looks like a
Non
free
la possono
rotation in
attivare?
towards the zone, almost
secondo me
300
sì.
above
Beh,
the Storm
Però
Surge
teoria
il punto
threshold.
è che anche che tu
So for them
l'attivi, però
things
quello
are,
il
it's almost looking
giocatore
like smooth
si
sailing for
mette
now.
accucciato, tu
Not
non
much to
niente,
worry about,
non la
but as the
senti
zone
questa.
continues to pull in that direction,
e
Sì,
they
è
don't
arrivato
get it. They're
accucciato.
gonna
in
have to
più
battle
hanno
through some of these
distrutto
teams.
l'arrampicata
It's looking
c'era
like a
su di loro.
predominantly dead side rotation here for MK
Sì,
Papa
non
and
ti rendi
Shalom.
conto.
The question
Il
is,
tetto
how
che
much
stava
surge
sopra,
were they actually
sì,
able
Non
to
era un
acquire
tetto.
sì,
throughout that
hanno messo un
process?
tetto,
Because
hanno messo
È
un
una
plenty
tetto
of
esatto,
times
sta rampa
teams, they'll
dopo
have great positioning because of dead
esatto.
side
e
rotations,
quindi
but they
come non
won't
ti
have the
rendi
surge to
conto
go
quello
with
che
it, and then they're
ti
Ripetino
forced
quello che ho
into
detto io,
moments of
infatti.
desperation where they're essentially
Cioè,
forfeiting their
che sono stati
ideal
molto lenti a
positioning,
reagire.
and
esatto.
Perché lui è
oftentimes
stato
their lives in the
bravo a
process, because
gattonare e
what
a
other
farmi
option
sentire
do
che
you
gli stava
have
esattamente
when you've got
sopra.
that storm surge
Però
damage
una volta
raining
che
in
io
on
ti
you?
comincio a
And you
distruggere,
see
tu devi
Quick
essere già
looking towards the
pronto.
backside
Sì, ma
of the
nel momento
zone.
che hanno distrutto il primo
He's
tetto,
trying
Esatto.
tranquillamente
his
potevano
best to not to
reagire e
have to
fare
worry
un
about that
tetto
storm
su quel
surge. Doing
tetto
good
che
so
avevano
far,
distrutto.
259.
Un ritardo nella trasmissione.
Rapid and Batman Booga were the ones positioned behind them. You see them, the yellow markers on your mini map down below. Since it is
No,
going to be in the
sto dicendo
storm, they're
cose
going to have to
diverse.
rotate, give up some of that
Sì, direi la
elevation.
stessa.
That way
No.
they can
Sì,
save
ma
some of that
sì,
HP
dire la
and those
stessa
heals for
cosa. Cioè,
later
sto
on
dicendo
in the
quello che stai
same game.
dicendo tu,
Kaizen and Clement.
Vabbè.
A lot of
Lo dico
teams
in
kind of falling
spagnolo,
behind
se
in this game when it comes to the zone. At least 4 of them right before our very
capisci.
eyes taking damage. Each second pass is going to
Mi
make it
sto
harder
contraddicendo,
for
ma
them
tu
to
stai
try to
contraddicendo me
survive.
dicendo quello che sto dicendo
Forced to
io.
use a lot of those
Riescono
resources
ad
in order to get that
avviare
HP
una
back. But
pratica
if you look
anche
at both Kaizen
durante
and Clement, they have
il
more than enough
campionato.
heals to
Solo
make it
guardando
possible to get
riescono a
in toward the
litigare
zone.
qualcosa.
Decent amount of teams also looking to
Litigare qualcosa.
A
conglomerate
litigare
over at the
qualcosa,
Drift
a
Ridge.
litigare qualcosa
When
guardando su un
racetrack is this
argomento.
poppin' and you see teams like Clement and Kaizen that have to run through that territory, you have to expect that it is going to be incredibly difficult to actually make it through unscathed. Or they might have a nice opportunity to look for some of those third-party circumstances. Only time will tell, but
Oggi lo possiamo
right
rifare.
now, the story for Faction Pamso definitely seems to be as if they are already situated a really nice elevated position so far, well ahead of where they need to be. Vico and Pink could definitely be in some trouble here.
Non sono qui 150 euro che tu mi hai dato.
Circa
Pancho, in fact, they
110.
spotted out a rift far along that ridge, waiting for somebody to try to go
Sì,
for
mi
it.
sono acquistati
Probably being their
una
plan
bella
A,
litigata con te
waiting for the zone to pull
ed
in.
essere
That's
sicura
where
di
they're
quello che io
going to put their
dicevo.
eyes back on it.
Quello non è
It's
niente.
King
Niente.
Phaser, they're just trying to reunite, get the most out of those splashes. We've already seen King put on a show yesterday in the upper bracket with that sniper, trying to do it here yet again. And you can see the difference in augments between the two teams. First shotgun is going to have the commonality between the two, but now they get aggressed on that high ground. Phaser trying to reposition. That's AIM and Zazie who aren't afraid to take a fight against Brazil's best, and they come out on top for now. King goes down. Another team drops in. That's Cow Gamer and 7man that take advantage of the third party, getting all the loot, all the resources, and they already had a good loadout as well. The MK Alpha over towards Relentless Retreat. They're just adding each tool to their tool belt.
That's just salt in the wounds there. To have to watch your opposition just reap the benefits of your bounty. No celebration time for eliminations in certain situations. 7 and Calgamer, though, definitely more than happy for what they managed to stumble across. Other teams, though, that would certainly be happy if they could add a couple more points, a couple more eliminations to their count. Duke and Edgy, certainly one of them. Team that definitely struggled throughout day number 1, but here in day 2, hoping to have the resurgence in order to find themselves in that finals lobby for the Global Championship Sunday.
Yeah, and you can see where the zone's heading on this game as well. Very, very similar to that last. We're going up mountains, down water. You got to be able to prepare for that, and luckily for them, it did just happen once before. They got to be able to try to mimic the blueprint if they did make it far, change things up if they did not, as Kanata and Agers this time around trying to rotate as a full duo, leaving nothing for one person to try to handle. So far, it is looking well. They're trying to go up the side of this mountain where not too many teams are positioned so far, but they run into both Lucy and Steno momentarily, who are caught sleeping there for a moment, so that gives them a free path towards the zone. And for them, that's a little bit of a blessing. On the other side, Rapid, not feeling that same thing. Slurp Juice is going to be popped, though. It runs out just as we tune on board. So it's going to be stuck to them to try to find some sort of a refresh. You see QNDX trying to shoot above with the Breacher, maybe to drop somebody down because they realize without no builds, without any heals, now becoming the focus, they have to think outside of the box to make this happen.
Right now, QND is just hoping that somebody else can divert the attention of some of these teams surrounding them, but it is a relentless amount of suppressive fire into these box edits, and QND Rapid finally get a moment to focus, but they're not the only team that's found themselves in sticky situations. You've got other teams as well, still looking to power through, still looking to make their way, cheating, turn and burn situations. Don't know who Fahad thought he was shooting at alongside Hero, but cheating, he had everything in his arsenal to make some magic happen. Granted, Hero and Fahad were relatively low stepping into that engagement, but cheating not one to stray away from a clutch situation.
That he might be the hero, but I'm the villain of this story.
Nuova citina.
He's just looking around, 45 materials, 5 minis, but it's the HP that is really lacking, because you can see the Storm Surge is well above the threshold as well. Everything going their way, and that goes to show that these early game battles, it is a risk, but it has a huge reward on it as well. As a lot of these teams finally make it to the zone, but most of them are stacked up on the west side, a little bit more on the southern edge. As Batman, Booga, and Rapid, they made that rotation around Mega City, trying to dodge line of sights of both Clix and Epicwell and everybody else on the side of that mountain. They've been doing a good job. They were at the top of the leaderboard, and they're holding on to their position. You see them there in 6th place. If they can continue this consistency, remember the 91-point threshold. It isn't official, but you got to imagine it's going to be close.
But depending on where Batman Booga actually chooses to throw that business turret, he might be able to catch some of these teams off guard, or at least get some decent information. So much congestion, though, building up in some of these mid-tier layers. Mr. Savage, the deal, looking for a way to turf through. They know they're going to have to take some fights first before they can get anywhere. Clownski, Girls, going to fall right in front of their very eyes. Pink and Vico surrounding Mr. Savage and Vidil as well. It's going to be 2 players right into the box. Ursa eliminated off a rip. Mr. Savage did not come to mess around. And Vidil, immediate backup fire. These two are just tearing through right now.
That was huge. They didn't even look the direction of Mr. Savage, not even once. And that was 2 huge shots that he used to his advantage. As Clix and Epicwell finally find their way in towards zone, but as soon as they do, it pulls towards the left, where a lot of those teams are congested on that side of the map compared to the north side, and they're ready to fight their way through. But very, very little heals to their name. At least Epicwell, once it slows down just a little bit, can throw that business turret down, try to get some information, but for now, they're trying to beat everybody else to the punch. They don't want to be the ones that are being held out by more than half of the lobby, and you can see the different elevated teams, some high in the sky, others far below, but they're finding any nook and cranny to go through, but it's Clix who actually falls to the deal. Even Bylop picking up an elimination. Kaizen's left by himself. Epicwell trying to survive. He's doing everything that he can, because placement points haven't really set in. A huge shot towards the back, and he goes down before able to stabilize and use that slurp juice, and that's going to be a huge treasure for somebody to find.
Massive for Lushi and Steno, as they're the ones we saw a little bit further towards the center of the zone, but now it's going to be a scramble. Everybody's got to get a move on in order to make it, as the moving zones will become all the more problematic for these players to deal with. But
Sì,
Vidil
guarda,
and
con
Savage,
queste
they've done
armi
an
qui
excellent job at just holding down their positioning in that mid-ground.
che vuoi di più?
Say it looked like a safe rotation, but don't be fooled. Players are hiding around every corner. Shields are going to get dropped. It's Cal Gamer and 7-man showing up big here on the high ground for now, but ninth zone, we've seen so many teams get tossed below due to rocket rams and sneak attacks. Kaizen's trying to break in and do one of those himself, recycling a bounce pass out on the heels of Frosty, but he doesn't go as high, so that player's going to be able to escape for now, and you see
In uno spazio così piccolo, 37 in una partita normale.
He gets tagged up, forced to use, down to 5. At least he has some heals to work with, so he has a chance to stagger himself, but only for so long. He's down on the threshold. MK Papa falls, leaving Shalom by himself. He has more than enough to work with.
But that's only temporary, because 25 builds can be gone just like that, especially when there's so much pressure being applied both above and below you. Shalom just trying to figure out which direction he wants to go next. Maybe spotted out Hen directly next to his box for the time being, but Kaizen, he's still making the most of things. Lash, Splash, going to be used, but a rocket ram to quicken the rotation. Jess has to hope that nobody spots him on the way back down. Miro is going to be the first that he comes up behind. Kaiser actually finds the knock on Miro. The elimination
cosa gli ha
sucked in a little bit of
fatto?
materials refresh, but Cooper
Però gli
with
è
a quick
costato,
revenge.
Almost
Gli
a
è
huge
costato.
W for him. Into the top 13 we go.
Guarda pure
Majority of the
questi.
placement points
Chi
have
incasca
already been
Nala
picked up to
e
this
il
point.
compagno
But
che
if
è
you want to make
morto.
sure you
Ne ha
qualify,
fatti
you
3 e
got to
lui
continue
2.
going. Badil under pressure. Mr.
Quindi la
Savage
squadra
said it
sta messi
himself.
bene.
Badil is someone I trust to frag out at the end, to pick up these points. If he has a moment to stabilize, he could get some HP back. Shields on top of that, but running out of resources, fresh out. He's going to have to think of something outside of the box, inside of somebody else's box, into the distance, lands a shot onto Source. That gives him a little bit of a speed boost thanks to his accelerated Maven, even gets a knock onto Peterbot before going down altogether.
A sabotage though from Badil onto Peterbot. That's going to stop Peterbot's run for the time being. Kanata though still keeping things moving right now all by his lonesome. Doesn't have Ears with him, does have a nice
Esatto, quello
pickup
che è
view,
morto.
but won't be able to
Quello che l'ha messo a terra, ma è morto prima di
Still
quello che
gonna
stava
destroy
per
builds, but
terra,
definitely be tough
anche
to
se
land
è
some
una
shots.
Calgamer on the top. Long
Gli ha
as
fregato
ready.
la
Hopefully they don't run into each other, but Calgamer knows where his
perché
teammate did
lui
go
non l'ha
down.
ucciso, lui l'ha rimattato.
The reboot
L'ho
card,
messo a
someone
terra,
said
era
he's going after
potenzialmente
with all that
salvabile,
materials
capito?
into the top
No,
five.
mentre la
3 players
tempesta
are running
No,
around
dico,
as
è
solos.
potenzialmente
Hylock gonna be
salvabile in
one of
linea
them. The
teorica.
Kings
Ma
on
scusami, ma
top of the
quando
castle
giochiamo
for
tutti
now,
Perché
but
nella
looking
stessa
polarized
squadra è un
and
conto.
scented as they
Ma
fall down
se
below.
per
Calgamer
esempio
was another
io
one.
no,
A nice
no,
shot's gonna be
io
landed with
sei
no
confuso.
resources continue to build up for
Le hanno dato
polarized.
la
But
china a
Sentinel's
quello che
there.
l'ho messo
They
a
put the
terra.
pressure
Hai
on.
visto
A lot
allora?
of
Era
damage and the
la prima,
siphon
che
goes
quello che
through.
stava
They
per
clean
terra.
out to take him out. Hylock flies next. 2v2 situation. NA versus NA. Duke and Edgy versus Polarized and Scented. But this is going to be drawn out just a little bit. The building of Mega City, it's indestructible. It's hard to break through. But Duke finally finds the wall that he can bypass. A little bit of builds, a little bit of resources left.
Duke and
Sono
Edgy,
tre.
they know that they
Mega
needed
City.
this one.
Mega City è molto interessante
Tough
perché ci
time
sta già
so
la
far in these
struttura.
first couple of
Quindi loro
games.
sono muri e
For game
cose.
number
No,
3,
Mega
this
City
could
molto
definitely
complicato
be
perché
their
sono
moment.
fatti, io te lo
Polarized
puoi
and Lost,
costruire.
though. They're not looking to let it go anytime soon.
molto
Up the
interessante.
center and immediately taken back down. Edgy stood no hope here. Now it's Duke left in a solo clutch situation. Two of NA's finest directly above him. Massive shot though.
Uno contro uno.
L'ho preso a tutte e due.
Grande! Bravissimo!
Ancora non ci sta raggiungendo, ma il gioco invece inizio. Ho sentito il pullman
Copenhagen,
ed
let's
eccoli
get
qui.
right back to it.
Eccoci
Game number
nell'inizio.
4 is underway.
This is the moment. We saw it
Come
yesterday.
vedete, i
Big
giocatori hanno
games
già
in
iniziato
game
a
4.
segnare i punti in
Outside of the
cui
bubble, teams were able to
vorrebbero
qualify.
atterrare.
The same thing happened in game 5, but now their backs are up against the wall with no choice
Vediamo
but to
se
go big or
inquadreranno
go
come
home.
il primo che
Go big or
atterra.
go home is the name of the game. We have these bubble teams contesting one another. The Shattered Labs, the story of Snazy and Polisai is
questo
only just
Snazy è
beginning. They are
atterrato per primo.
not quite set yet, but neither is Tahi. Neither is Death, who are just to the north of them, all of which are on that same exact threshold. Here we have Jamon, Moneymaker, Yuma, Venation, just nearby. They go for the pickaxe play. It's not going to be enough.
Picconate!
L'ha messo giù.
One. Can they get the
Che aveva
second?
l'arma
Yeah,
comunque.
that's tough. They're in 20th place, Moneymaker and Fanayan to start this game off. So if they go down here, that's going to really put things in a tough spot. But Yuma and Jamon, they're definitely picking up the pace, especially after that loss off-spawn battle in that last game. They're finally figuring out where he's hiding. And Moneymaker's really just thinking outside of the box. Any nook, any cranny that he can fit in, he's going ahead and trying to hide and trying to keep them on the run, going in and outside of the same covers. But eventually he's going to have to go ahead and
Lui
run
sta
into
prendendo
both
la
of
scheda
these
del
players
compagno,
unless he can
infatti
get
ci
the
vuole
launch
provare.
pad and
È
get
inizio
out, and
partita,
that's
capito?
exactly
Si
what
può
he's
farlo
going to
ancora
do to stay alive.
perché sono tutti in una posizione di
Yuma is
sta
going to spot him,
scappando.
though he puts a couple tags down. Very crucial, but
Sparano,
not
ma non lo
enough to
prendono.
finish the job. Alba, Yuma, and Jamon, of course,
non
representing
sono
for the
soliti
Asia
come
region.
commentatori,
That
non sono
elimination
riusciti a finire
alone
la
jumps them up 3 or 4 spots, putting them in the upper 30s now. That just shows you how close the
Ora io sarei
cutoff
curioso
is
di
for
vedere
top
cosa sta
25.
andando a fare.
This truly is the story now.
E sta
of the
morendo
back.
per
Money
mano
It's
di
the
Maker,
questi
race
still
altri.
to the
È
finish
morto
line,
per
but for
mano di
some,
questi
they
altri.
might be gasping out just trying to get there.
This is huge. Another battle off spawn towards Creaky Compound. Fahad and Hero
Poverino, perché
trying to
lui
make
in
up
realtà
Atterraggio
early on in the day.
Questa è la
Quickly trying
componente
to
di
capture Creaky
sfortuna
compound. And there's a strength in numbers,
caratteristica
I've been
di
saying all weekend long, but
Fortnite,
it's
cioè c'è
here on
tanto
the
di
flag as
bravura, ma
well.
c'è
As long as
anche
both of them are
una
standing in it,
componente,
gonna
come
get it
dicevano anche
much
ieri,
faster to try to get that loot
di
as we
fortuna,
try to capture
specie
everything
all'inizio
that's
del
gone
gioco
down.
in
You see Hero
particolare.
already with one elimination, and Skits, that's going to be the second one. And that's a must-have because Skits and his duo were having such a hot streak out of the gates, much better than they performed yesterday.
Absolutely. Crazy to think how many performances have been seen as far as above average from the NA side. So many of the NA teams are literally putting themselves closer and closer towards the finals. I don't think that's been emphasized enough how well of a performance they've had, and I'm here to champion for them as I'm, of course, been rooting in the background. But Vatch and Pam still, of course, if they make it to Sunday, they will be giving Canyon Seti an issue there. So
Va,
we'll
è
see what
iniziata,
happens.
è morto quello più giovane,
Qualifications
Moneymaker.
do matter. Staying in data still, sneaking up.
La squadra di Moneymaker è stata completamente annientata.
Anybody else do but them. Instead of
Per il
hiding in a
resto
bush, though,
niente
they're ready to
di
pounce. They realize they are
veramente
separated
degno.
just enough for their liking as they continuously try to creep in. Fahad's going to try to get away, but the shot strike, more than half of his HP is going to be gone. And that leaves Hero to try to run, cover the distance, get there as fast as possible. And I think this is going to come out into a 2v2 situation with Stain and Datas having the advantage early on.
ME versus Asia right here, right now, but a third party comes in to put their influence into the mix. That was almost a perfectly coordinated attack from our favorites here, Stain and Data. So
Attaccando, ma
now
vengono
the
attaccati.
problem lies in their side. They've been hurt big time here. The compound no longer safe, and there's also Solo in the mix here, making his way south through. Meanwhile, we jump over Wakitos here, setting up the ambush onto Raru.
Questa rosa, quest'altro simbolo.
Nice little sneak shot, but he ain't gonna fall for that bait. Keto's quickly trying to back up, take the high ground back. Jin is right there by his side, but Greedy's trying to chop him down to size. Both of these duos try to reunite one another. Jin, not very many heals left, and instantly it's Ketos who shares. Oh, but the snipe from the side. They forgot about the top of the mountain. Jin goes down and leaves a lot of pressure on the Ketos to try to clutch up. Raru and Greedy, they're the ones trying to take advantage of it as well.
And the awareness from Raru to understand the snipe comes in and it puts them at a disadvantage. They didn't miss a beat there. They turned things around immediately. Talk about a lucky save for them. As they were on the backside for a moment there.
Oh, what are these just third parties, one after the next?
Oh my gosh.
Greedy gets chopped down to size as well. Raru has to kind of about face. He can no longer go after Ketos, who has a solo, because he has to reunite with Greedy. He doesn't want to have his game end here very, very early in match 4.
For a second there, it was looking like the warm-up games, like straight W key.
But we got a listen in with Hen, seeing how he's doing in the early portions of this game.
On the right, like towards 50.
Yeah.
You're killing me there.
Come on, please be AR. I got AR.
Nice on the right.
Dead. Kiri.
Absolute clean elimination right there. That's the way you want to start your games off, picking off damage. Question is, can he get the finish there in time? Either way, 8 players already eliminated here. That's 3 full duos and some fragmented. Let's take a look here. Zone going far north. Things mixing up here for day 2 so far. Let's see some variety.
Yeah, we've definitely seen some northeast. We've seen some southeast. Now we're just going to have a straight north for now. It does have a little bit of a western lean, but it could definitely center up. Figure out where it actually goes later on in the game, but Bully and Shadow changing up things just a little bit. Don't want to go against Peak and Vico far too often, but that's 7-man and Cal Gamer that they're going up against, and they're on a hot streak. They're on a hot streak for sure, climbing up that leaderboard to try to get their spot into Championship Sunday. And all Shadow wanted was a couple of tags thanks to that surge, and now he's going elsewhere.
Oh, Mr. Savage has to be careful here, though, deep in the zone, but he is holding things down. Can he get adapter? He does! Swatted out the sky. Nicely done for him. And FKS now back against the wall, hurt as well. Vadil, one of the best to ever do it. When he sees you hurt, he comes in and closes it. Makes it look easy. Let's see, Savage comes from behind here. Yup, he's boxed up. It's only going to take one more shot. FKS is fighting. He's fighting hard, but for how long can he last?
Yep, quick moves by Mr. Savage as well, dodging a lot of those shots.
Okay.
Might have cursed him there, but he goes down nonetheless. Vidil is the one who gets credit. He just took too much damage trying to get that reboot off. He goes down to the storm itself so early on. But that's Vidil and Mr. Savage. This is what they've known best. Even though they wanted uncontested, well, they got it.
Best part about it is they need those points to continue to give them the cushion to go ahead and stay in the money, stay in the safe zone. It's nice to be in top 4 now. Should be all he needs. Take a look now at Batman Booga. Rapid, of course, a favorite. NA puts in a lot of work here, but Pink on the other side says, hold that thought. We got action, and we have it now.
Forse in frigo c'è anche la salsa di
Finds
pinna,
Rapid
no?
there. The duo of Batman Booga. Now back against the wall. Just
se
a
l'abbiamo
solo
riportato
here.
da
We'll have to retreat for the moment as there is a duo lurking above.
I'm waiting for this third party. It's actually Kaizen and Clement who are trying to go ahead and use those berries. So that way they don't have to use too much of their own heals. It is working out. That could be the distraction needed for Batman Booga to try to stay alive. And for Pink and Vico, this is a moment for them to stabilize themselves. They started this game in 32nd place, almost a repeat of yesterday with 2 chances left. They have to lay it all on the line. No regrets, no excuses. The time is now.
That's right. Fresh duos rotating in the surrounding vicinity as well. Clement's going to go on up. They say, hey, look, we got the solo singled out here. I think we can go ahead and take advantage here. If they do just that, could put them in the position to have the surge they need. There it is. They trap him from underneath and force him out the box.
Sì.
Batman Booga expending all the metal now. Backs into a corner. The double shot comes through from Kaizen and Clement, and the synergy here, you have to respect it now. This Elam is worth 4 points. They want to close it out or give it back to Vico. Potentially now. And Batman Booga will not give it up without a run for it. Kaizen and Clement secure the deal there and earn themselves 4.
They gotta be careful though. Now it's Pink and Vico territory. A lot of that real estate is gonna be owned by them, and they know it. So Clement and Kaizen immediately get out, build some fresh spot for them to go ahead and try to regain composure. And with the zone pulling forward, a lot of these teams are going to have to continue to rotate towards the north side of the map, which means Pink and Vico, they have the advantage. They are full health as well. They have all the heals, so they either stay, try to camp above Clement and Kaizen, or try to rotate first and hold them out nonetheless.
Pink and Vico do need several more slots to go. You can see they're just holding that 30th placement. That's with the 4 that they earned this game off the elimination. So truly and surely they have to get more elims. More importantly, they have to stay alive as Vico is severely damaged here. It's Clicks and Epic Whale setting up the ambush nearby, and they would love to pick up some of that sweet material, but no, instead going to prioritize to rotate out. It's going to come at a welcome surprise, I think, to Clement or Vico and Pink there. They were definitely damaged.
I would say I do like this change up coming out of both Clicks and Epic Whale. It was in that last game. They were stayed too far in towards Mega City, let all the other teams bypass them. So by the time it was their turn to rotate, they just got held out. They got separated and taken down as Chubbs and Bryce land a monster of a shot. They don't want to continue this fight as solos. Bryce is yet to go ahead and reunite with his teammate. So that's going to be Chubbs just backing up. Bryce, he has his shoulder. I'll watch it. You try to get out. And it's a fight for the forecast tower. So it's definitely something worth the risk if you're ready to gain that reward.
Chubbs and Bryce have had an incredible showing, as have Shalom and MK Papa every single time I've tuned in with this duo here. Today just really has been them finding their stride here amongst some of the greatest. Already at 2 eliminations, a big 8-point game. I'd say this is definitely a team that is jumping onto the radar here now.
That was Pamstu and Fatch that they just took out of this lobby. Pamstu and Fatch have about 48 points, 29th place. The only place they can go from here, though, is down. They leave it up to the last and final game of the day to try to qualify. And from one fight to the next, they run into Pings, who quickly bounce pads out. He doesn't want to have any of that noise. He is a solo, so he's probably looking for a least contested part of this zone to try to go ahead and get his teammate back.
Let's take a look at these elims here that MK Papa and Shalom picked up, because the significance here, they go from top 25 to top 20 here by eliminating Fatch and Pam here on the rotate around the storm line. A very significant pair of eliminations for them here. That could be the difference to their Sunday ride. But now with Fishy and DMK also at 3 elims turning online, they find Epic Whale, and that's a huge punishing blow, forcing them to stop now and heal. We already knew they didn't have many white heals, that's why they were playing the shrooms. So now Epic Whale is truly hurt.
Yeah, this is going to be tough because they don't have the elevation as well. Luckily, though, they are by this Rift Island, so a couple of teams might try to contest it, which leaves an open path somewhere for them to try to find and try to get on track. They started the game in 15th, then they moved up to 10th, but at that last game, they fell all the way down to 22nd place, and the time is definitely ticking for a lot of these teams to claim their spot on that battle bus for the grand finals.
Well, Jacob, let me tell you, the 3 or 4 duos I see nearby all absolutely need this Rift Island, and if you think back to that content piece, this is when it is the most dangerous. You have to be the most cautious going for the Rift Island right here, right now, because you know those 15 points are going to be worth fighting for right now. Datus and Stain recognize that Chubbs is hurt here. They try to go in, but Gab Zero's not missing a shot at all right now. A very, very great job. So far, so good. But remember, Chubbs and Bryce, they're good. They have the ride to Sunday. They're going to do okay.
Just about practice for them.
Potevi dirlo,
Still
l'ho
on the
detto,
international
avevi
stage, every
15
moment
secondi per
matters.
dire no.
You said it himself, he's nervous. Now it's time for him to shake those nerves, get ready for tomorrow. And you hear the crowd going wild. Bushi and Steno, they got themselves a nice bit of elevation, but just on the corner of the zone. And that's exactly why they're going to try to disengage off that spot, rotate deeper in. Depending on what teams have the forecast tower, they might try to beat them there, but it is across the map from that Rift Island. So you already know around the 4th, the 5th, even 6th zone, it will pull away from Rift Island.
This is incredible. Stacey, Podesai, Clicks, Epic Whale, Stain, Datus. An incredible amount of variety here. Trying to play for the Rift Island. At the most dangerous time to do so as well. This is going to make or break a tournament run right now. Who will secure it?
Even Chubbs and Bryce, they say, I want a piece of this pie. We may have won a game, but we haven't captured Rift Island yet. This could be our chance to continue to add to our lead. And they're ready to fight for it. You see shots coming down from a bottom. There's about 4 teams, maybe even 5 on top of Rift Island. Clicks and Epic Whale, they got pushed off of that flag, no longer able to contest it, but at least they have the position high above the rest. And it looks like they're going to try to fight for some piece control, some real estate, anything that they can get their hands on before they look at the edge of the island for more storm surge.
A little too passive, though. They're playing the launch pad and not the actual objective. They do have to be careful. You have FHD and Hero looking right on down, slowly maneuvering their way inside. Clicks and Epic now second-guessing the decision to be here. Eliminations could be very well worth it, but securing the point seems unlikely at this point, as Chubbs and Bryce are like, hey, we would love to be #1 for the day. Why not put the risk on the line here? Why not risk it all?
Literally have nothing to lose this situation. This is exactly what I thought Clicks and Epic Whale were going to do. They have just the edge of the zone to continue contesting it, and now they're looking on down below to try to get that storm surge, but you can see their awareness. They're constantly looking around. We saw Vasquez go down early on. PHZin and Kitos ready to finish off this duo, send them back to the lobby and try to jump up that leaderboard. That is a huge amount of confidence ready to be built.
Almost Kito and PHZin, well played. Big set of eliminations. It's gonna put them in a good spot. Here's Clement, Kaizen on the move. We already saw the very tough spot they were put in when faced off against Pink and Vico, trying to secure the elimination on Batman Booga. It cost them a lot of material, and now they're pretty much a foot behind. Meanwhile, Pink, Vico coming back here. They drop Miro, take down Cooper shortly after. Look at that. Already done in wraps, and Pink and Vico absolutely needed that one. Huge, huge pickup right there. For Cooper and Mira, who are inside the top 10, I think they'll be all right, but they'll surely slip down coming into the last and final game here.
It's definitely going to put them on the edge of their seat, and you can see what they're fighting for. Not only the 2 eliminations with just H points, it's that weapons cache as well to try to bolster their loadout as much as possible. The main thing is going to be those slurp juices to try to keep them alive. They don't want to wait to the last game to make their qualification possible. Way and Frosty, they're stuck on the edge of zone, just outside as well. They got a couple of feet to cover before they find some safety with inside, but even then, once they get in towards zone, their journey doesn't stop there. The zone continues to pull towards the far north side of the map.
The majority of the players are down here as well. Big congestion happening here. It's going to be a very, very difficult rotate for the bulk. See what happens here. But back to the Rift Island, back to the most contested island, the island where all of the teams on the bubble lie. Mr. Savage has 2 elims. Guess what? One of them is Bryce. Can they get Chubbs here? Can they find their 4th elimination right now? Badil already working his way in, looking good. Chubbs goes down, but it's not to them. It's to the hands of FHD and Hero here, a team that equally needed those elims. They needed those points, but who secures the loot?
Yeah, I heard it get captured there at the tail end, but I don't know who actually got credit for the capture. We see the loot falling through. Badil and Mr. Savage trying to steal as much of it as possible. Might have been Fahad and Hero who grabbed that one. Clicks and Epic Weld, long gone off of Rift Island. You saw them cover up that bounce pad, and now they're trying to use it. Suns and Anon trying to make something of their last opportunities here on the day. They saw Alex and Worthy qualify out of OCE, and they don't want to leave them as the lone team in the grand finals representing their region. Nice opportunity here to pick up more points. He's going to slip on through. That's Chris on the other side. Suns not only needs the points, but he needs the refresh. He needs that loot that he has in his hands, and Anon, him, can't stay too much longer in this zone before they go down.
Also recognizing the additional damage turning on here. Look at how quickly they're falling underneath the Storm Surge. Storm Surge will, of course, turn on just about 10 seconds. Start dealing tons of damage to the lobby. Huge tag right there, though. That might be a game changer. No, it's only worth 100. Into the zone they go. Here it is. Let's see what they can do.
Hero's right next to him. At least Suns made it in, giving him a shot. The Storm Surge taking him down. One more tick before he goes back to the lobby.
Wow.
He's doing what he can. 40 below, and he barely goes above by 81. The risk versus the reward. At least he stays alive.
That was actually so impressive. Swings through, finds a tag, and slips out before the surge can actually hit him. He was just a moment away from hanging out in the lobby for a second there. But trouble still looming. Trouble still on the horizon here. Pink and Vico don't stop, though. They are looking to make the dreams and wishes of their communities come true as they're coming right back to it. Let's relive the moment. Let's recapture that. Vico walks in. Takes down the 2 from the side. He gets both elimination credit there, and look at that. Feeling very good about it.
I mean, Pink said it himself.
No, quello che ha urlato è proprio quello che l'ha ucciso.
Well, it's actually diamonds are made from pressure, and he's feeling that pressure now in the moment, using it to fuel himself. I think this might be one of the best games they've had all weekend long. And Monster, at this stage in the game, there are more teams alive outside of that top 25 bubble than teams that are inside. So they're trying to take these last 2 games of opportunity and really push themselves to the limit.
Really changing the narrative right now.
No, era quello che aveva vinto perché continuava a muovere il mouse.
Right there, really trying to change this whole story around. Half the lobby has just about been eliminated, including some of our favorites, like you said, up inside the top 10. Most of those teams are down and out, so this is really going to allow the funnel of points to flow south to the bottom of the standings, which is going to make the final game that much more tougher to break through into the top 25. You know, it's a very different game when even those that were at the bottom are now starting to pick it up. It only takes 2 games, 2 good games.
So recipe for excitement. Players are cooking up a final opportunity here. 27 players left alive, 27 teams, so that means no placement points have been granted so far. And it's really up until that top 10. Half the
Copenaghen
points are
non è
outside
così
of the top 10.
Mhm.
Majority of those points are inside of the top 10. So for some of these teams, just getting these placement points
Ma
isn't
c'è
going
un
to be
pesce
enough.
che ti
They're
può
going to
ridare
need
tutte e
top
due?
10 performances, maybe
Sì,
even
ma di
back-to-back
conflitto.
top 10s if they're looking to continue their journey on towards Sunday. Kaizen barely above the damage threshold by 66, but he knows not to make the wrong move, especially this late in the game with so many other teams surrounding.
This is it. This is his chance. This is his moment.
No.
If he can take off here, if he can make a big end game, a top 10 potentially, it might just be all he needs. But first, though, he's got to survive here. He's barely up. He might just be able to find DeGuerra here. Great tag there, and he does take him down and out. Rocket rams his way on, up and out. Can he get all the way to the top? Close enough. Perfectly there.
E ha usato il
It
trucco
was
e quindi lui è
nearly
stato
over, but even
fondamentale
finds
in
a
questa
zip
fase.
line
Usato?
to get all the way on inside. There
Brillante.
goes the elimination
Infatti adesso
credit.
sta di
Alive
nuovo
long enough to
tutta la
find it. Meanwhile, Reason
Quindi,
also
quel succo è
finding
stato-
eliminations too. I know we got to interview with our good friend Amar.
una
It seems like all of his hopes and dreams are coming true for the German community out there.
Talk about the Brazil community. King and Phaser finally have some sense of high ground. Saw them
questo è il
far
solito
low on the
momento in cui
leaderboard with
c'è
2 opportunities left. This could be their chance to boost up the leaderboard, even if they don't get inside of the bubble. As long as they get close, they're keeping the hope alive for their entire region. But just like Perza here all by himself, 5 eliminations so far, 6
qua
as
tutti
a
si muovono
team,
insieme.
34 points with a couple of those
Momento di
being
massa,
placement.
perché
He's just waiting for the last
Giustamente
possible moment to try
Chi
to
sta
go ahead
nel
and rotate.
bordo,
He does have the front side
vicino alla
of the
prossima
zone, so
zona,
there's
deve
gonna be a lot of
indietreggiare,
players
guardando
passing by.
avanti.
He can try to get the
Sperando che
elimination on, 'cause
buchi
with 7 builds,
qualcuno.
he
Puoi
might need
parare a
more.
chiunque vede.
This one, he's going to have the pick his poison, go for
Ma questi ne ha
healings,
uccisi
go for the
5.
loot, or play for extra.
No, lui anche se perde
See what he decides to do
Diciamo
here.
che
Still trying to make that decision. Not looking to get greedy, though. Instead, it's going to focus on positioning here coming shortly. This is the last charge in his rocket ram. Meanwhile, Kaizen flying all the way to the front side of zone, puts himself in an excellent spot here. He just sees so many chances to find tags.
Devi avere una botta di culo per poterlo usare.
Biding his time, trying to play the smart
o
game, even
entra
though he's
nella
below
parte
the damage
vantaggiosa
threshold.
della
He's not trying to make that leap all in one bound, even finds some minis along the way, gets above the damage threshold before it goes away altogether.
e comunque
Top
vedi
30
procede
player
non
situation.
velocissimamente.
He's going to be one of them trying to put the team on his shoulders, but King and FaZe are still find a way to hold on to the high ground. Put so much damage on the Yanis who
Stare
tries to
proprio nella
contest him
parte
up there,
più
sends him
vantaggiosa.
back down low into the mud.
What a game for Shalom and Papa here. Also, ranking their way all the way up right now. Getting very close, getting very comfortable, but Shalom Falls is all up to MK Papa here. Has to put the teammate on his back quite literally. They decide, hey, you don't have to save me. I'm gonna try to stay up right here. Clicks is gonna fall, Epic Whale has to do it by himself in the end game. He has no build, shots come from everywhere. Down he goes to his NA friends, TK there. And now, Snazy, hold aside, another end game for them. This is their moment. This is their chance to do it all.
I know everybody at home can hear the crowd through our mics cheering loud and proud. We already seen Podesai get a massive amount of points as a solo. This time, yes, his dynamic duo trying to go ahead and lead the charge into the qualification spot along with Pink and Vico. They've been doing so much damage all around the lobby all game long, and they don't intend to stop here, especially with 7 eliminations. They already got themselves into the top 10. Now they're trying to grab the last half of those points.
And only one build left. He comes all the way down to low ground. They'll be alive for a little bit longer, but 4 duos remain. One's a single solo in the mix here. In this entire game, Shadow from the shadows, the back of the leaderboards, all the way on up. Here to play upset. He makes an end game. This is going to surely put him in a true chance for the bubble spot. Down he goes to the hands of Pink and Vico. Pink and Vico have rocketed their way up. It's going to be such a contentious final round. But first, who will win this one? Who will secure that dub here? Podesai will surely get eaten alive by the storm. And he fails to build there. It's unfortunate here. Comes in through the side. Down he goes. And it's now a 2v2.
Due spalle.
Pingu at the bottom and fall damage is real on the
Morto.
Vico, but he gets the trade at the bare minimum.
Ha ucciso il compagno, ma lui l'ha ucciso.
Take the game. That could have been
Comunque ogni volta vincono tutti diversi,
Una partita,
Sta iniziando. Giorno 2, match 5.
l'ultima.
Ultima partita.
This is it. The very last chance for any one of these teams to try to make it to Sunday and keep their dreams alive. They got the Axe of Champions up for grabs. The lion's share of $4 million. And I think just as important for these competitors calling themselves the best in the world when it comes to Fortnite.
That is absolutely correct. The standings, the minimal points required will probably be much higher than 91, because if you compare the top points from yesterday to today, it is so much more closer. That threshold is much, much tighter. This is by far a much more difficult qualifier round to get out of. But first, Yuma, Jama, Moneymaker comes in. Looking sharp as ever here. Gets the first tag, but his teammate is also hurt. Swings around. Can he go ahead and put it all together here?
This is a big battle for both of these teams, because this decides if they have even a chance to keep themselves alive, and they immediately get a disengage from Jama and Yuma. Moneymaker's just hot on the heels, though. He may not know exactly where he's at, but by going this route, he knows now he has to be in that direction. He spots him out at the tail end on top of the roof. Shots gonna be fired. Jamon taking a lot of that damage. He's gonna be in there to finish the job. They keep it alive, Monster.
Well played. Elimination right there. Comes in, finishes the job nice and easy this time. The shoes on the other foot. They are here to change the narrative, change the story. They have an actual chance. Well, we already know. You can be all the way at the back. One win can potentially take you to the top.
Yep, and with some of these teams already have their ticket on that battle bus ready. We've seen some reckless plays. They tried to defend their drop spot, but a nice shot from Anon and Sons to deal a load of damage on their opponents. All about how you capitalize on this opportunity now. And you can see the crouch coming out from Anon. He's trying to hide exactly which direction he's going to come from, but FKS doing the same exact thing, trying to peek through one of these windows, and he has a gold sharp tooth. He could definitely one-pump either one of these players.
I'm sorry to say it, but FKS and Adapter just really representing as far as their drop has been better. They have really, really out-dropped Sons and Anon every single round that we've seen here for the most part. This is the first time those Sons and Anon have found a very good and promising loadout here at the temple.
precedente, penso, perché
Positions have switched. Usually it's Anon playing from the low ground, which hasn't really worked out for them. Now you have the side angle and a lot of damage onto Adapter.
Che praticamente sono
Trying to follow
atterrati
it up with
nell'altro
Combat
bastone.
SMG, trying to get him to
Mentre nella
spend
partita
as many
precedente
of those
Moneymakers
resources as possible to make the fight that much easier. A little peekaboo shot from Adapt. FKS trying to clean that one up as well, but they just get pushed right back into the same. Shields are going to get dropped. One's going to go down. Adapter trying to hang on his final lifeline, but Sons with another angle. They win the most important battle of their day so far.
What an incredible win right there, and all of a sudden now, that could be the run. Dreams shattered. Hopes being made at the same time.
Not too many contested fights actually go down over here towards Brutal Bastion, even though it is contested. A little bit of a north and a south split between the two teams, which kind of maybe explains why they might be lacking a little bit when it comes to Storm Surge versus other contested teams here in the game, but they don't know exactly where their opponents are at. Rolls has the loadout that he wants. He wants to go ahead and pick up that big pot. Side sets the sniper. Cheatin' and Pixie are so far away, and they have that elevation, so it's not going to be an easy find to take advantage of. While Phaser, he found something. Tries to go for a quick couple of early shots. Snazy immediately builds up, takes that elevation away from Phaser. King is a little bit too far away, so if they're able to pounce rather quickly, that'll be two separate 2v1s. But it does look like Podesai is going to go for a disengage momentarily, which allows Phaser to kind of stabilize, reclaim his position, and reunite with King.
Very, very important set of engagements in front of King and Phaser here if they want to make it to top 25. Ping, Kyrie need to do the same here, and the Eclipse State is starting to get a little expensive. A lot of teams nearby. Meanwhile, Edgy falls there. Fights happening here. All in the last game. Pink and Vico taking that heated streak here directly into the next game. Already in a battle. Already trying to turn online here, you know. Feeling pretty good. It's up against Shalom. Shalom made an endgame there as well. That was a big turn of events for him.
Pink and Vico right now, now that they've more than likely punched their ticket to the finals, playing a little bit more loose, a little bit more reckless, trying to repeat the fragging ability that they had in that last game, going a different direction than some of the other games that we've seen so far. Third party coming in, making NK Papa's that job that much harder as Vico continues to go ahead and push them in, take away a lot of their territory. Pink is on the other side, but he needs to be careful because he's running out of resources to work with. But it does look like it is going their way continuously.
One false move and it can be all over for Shalom here. He has to hit this shot, but he's missing it. Vico finds his first, and down goes MK Papa first. Shalom now solo, but there is a duo starting to fire in. That might be the saving grace here, as they did not get the full finish with Shalom back against the wall here. Vico continuing to push in. He's heated up. It's looking good, but these are not his walls. Hurt now from the third party. Back down to the low ground, Vico and Pink back up. It's cost them so much. Heals, material, and everything in between. We know they're top 25.
But in the
But at the cost of Shalom's game potentially here now.
The mini-map is showing that the third party is getting fourth party, making sure everybody has an invitation to the celebration, and that allows Pink and Vico a little bit more flexibility to continue the 2v1 onslaught, and they finish the fight. They send him back to the lobby and end the run for Shalom.
Shalom and MK Papa were right on the 13th spot. But if you just took away 10 points, it would be on the bubble, on the line inside the top 20. So we'll see if it can hold up now. They'll have to hold their breaths until the next game. If we saw a repeat of last game, it's going to be tough.
No, it definitely is, especially now that they have to sit and watch. Only place on the leaderboard they can go is down, but at least they've secured their spot thus far. Source taking a little bit of damage, taking a few seconds to try to heal up here over towards Steamy Springs. You see Bully and Shadow in their line of sight. Just Shadow, actually. So this kid give Bully a chance to try to alleviate some of the pressure or just continue to rotate as Skits and Sorif do go down to Duke and Edgy. Duke got to be feeling himself after that huge 2v1 against his NA counterparts. And just gotta ask if he has the reboot card, because there's a chance to get Edgy back into the game, as it does look like he's going towards the edge of the zone where you'd think some, or at least the least amount of players are at.
Duke, by far, the play of the weekend. That clutch, incredible, coming out of game 3, securing them inside the top 10 so far. Now, the team that probably needs the crowd's energy the most, Epic Whale and Clicks are on 24th position. And we want to emphasize, to get out of the lower bracket, you have to get to 25th position or better. They are just on that line. One mistake, and it is over.
You just have to figure out a way to dig deep, get that energy. River and Gazer going up against another duo here. Rapid, Q, and DX. Shots also coming in from around the map, making it that much harder to try to take this one in a convincing manner. But the piece control goes on over, but a great shot by Rapid to go ahead and get a knock onto one. Quickly going to clean that one up for the Siphon. Getting that refresh on the maps as well. You can see he's max. QNDX ready to continue putting down the pressure, advancing forward every chance that he gets, trying to cut him off. River's going to be by himself. A little bit of a miracle is going to be needed, but he's quickly keeping them on the run, going up elevation. Definitely one box at a time, trying to tear down the walls of his opponent, give himself some real estate to work with, trying to stabilize his position. And momentarily, he's going to do just that. And another shot being fired onto Rapid, so the bait and switch is going to come in, and they played that one to perfection to take down River.
Let's go. Well played for Middle East right there. Meanwhile, Tahi has to clutch up for death. This is it. They're working together right now. They find Deguera there on the rotate. Very nicely set here for the rest of the game now. They can pick up these materials. They can pick up the extra finds here. Get right to the zone. Plenty of time to work with as well. This will put them well within the surge comfort for now.
Saw Kaizen go down in the feed. Clement was also out, but they've positioned themselves on the leaderboard in 15th place. Got to be confident that it is going to hold, but only time will tell. As Anand goes down, there's a deal. Suns as well. So another duos run here this weekend comes to an end, while another one is shining bright.
Love to root for Death. Young kid from the Bronx alongside Tahi, but jumping over to Okis, who's trying to put up the solo clutch here. For a moment there, he had a bit more on the standings, but now pressured in by Kitos and PHN. They're working the pincer maneuver here. One wall and two, and Okis now runs, trying to stay up. The early med kit here, they don't want to risk anything, making sure that they put themselves in the most optimal position to win this fight here. You have to respect every pro player that has made it this far in the stage. The best of the best globally here gathered for the weekend's tournament. There is no easy set of eliminations, but Okis is gonna fall here now to the hands of PHC. And just like that, the Brazilian boys gain another. Well played.
Trying to continue where they left off yesterday and go up that leaderboard. FHD and Hero. It looks like they got a little bit of a slower rotation compared to most in this game. Almost uncontested towards the north side of the map, and that's where they're putting their money on to see if it is going to go in this direction. The only question I really have, Monster, is how much surge do they have? Because if you're going on the slow side, you're not going to have very many opportunities to pick that one up. And even though they have a good amount of wood, full brick, right now they're just trying to get as much metal as possible because they know how useful it is in that end game.
Meanwhile, we get to watch this back one more time. Tahi and Death, how they managed to find their eliminations right off the rocket ramp to set up the angle. Tahi, who came back from an extended break, joins back up with Death in the final last chance qualifier, pushes his way through, and then secures himself the ticket, the ride here to wonderful Copenhagen. And now this is his last chances, his last efforts at play here in game number 5, where they absolutely have to come inside the top 10 if they want a shot. So does Clicks and Epic Whale. They just need to play just well enough, just good enough, better than the upper half of the lobby.
Yeah, that's basically two different sides of the coin. Death and Tahi need a VR if they're looking to qualify, or a massive amount of eliminations. You said it yourself, Clicks and Epic Whale need to do just enough to go ahead and punch their own ticket there. Stacey and Podesai at this stage in the game, I feel like they did more than enough to find themselves confident to go ahead and play yet another day of Fortnite tomorrow, and a chance to win $1 million as a team, and each placing below that is no slouch either. There's a massive amount of money up for grabs, $4 million to be exact. Seven-man is trying to put the team on his back here by himself. You see he has the vault loot, and he's in 27th place.
Epic Mailware just found something there, but Seven-Man has the tournament run on his back. Snazy knocked to the hands of Epic Whale, but save picked up here. Now starting to run out of heals. They don't have much time. They have to get to the zone now. It's all or nothing, and there it is. Luckily, they were super close. It ends up working out. But Clicks and Epic Whale are inside the storm. They're inside the mega city, just coming out a bit late there. So danger lurking everywhere nearby. If Seven-Man makes it to the finals and King makes it to the finals, we'll see that contestant again. Grand Final's gonna be so crazy. The new teams are joining in.
Yeah, the storylines are literally writing themselves right before our very eyes. You see Vortex and Belusi go ahead and capture Rift Island, and that is going to be a must for them. They are right now positioned in 46th place, so not only do they need that Rift Island, they need to continue strong in the rest of this game, pick up a huge VR for the placement points. And I even feel like their job won't be done there. They need to sprinkle in a couple of those eliminations as well, but anything is possible. We've already seen it yesterday.
Caught a glimpse of Peterbot there as well. Big strides for Peterbot and Bala in the last half here. And they keep up the pace, but first, away. YKZ have to do a lot more. Frosty's can do. Frosty's got lots to work with here, but the pressure is on as he is on that line. He is the protector of the 25th line, if you will. It's got Rauru just next door, Death and Tahi. All teams that would love to go ahead and find these eliminations.
Have to have a little bit of that goal line defense. Not let anybody
per
sweep past them.
vederli.
And that can
Sì,
be a
ma
different
tu
type
li
of pressure
vedi e le
itself,
spari
knowing
quello
you
che
are
si è
in
spostato.
25th place. Anything can happen.
Questi c'hanno i riflessi,
Bot and
non c'hanno
Mila have
no.
shown that as well.
Questi
To qualify to this
li
stage,
vedi
the different
ti
weeks
spara
of
e ti
qualifiers
colpisce.
and the grand finals, they fell short with different teammates. But they went
Quando
ahead
questi non
and
sono
remembered the
come
recipe
me che
for
non
success.
vediamo,
When they were
questi
teammates, they got a
non ci
first
vogliono
place
niente
finish in
meno. Ci vogliono
FNCS
qualcosa che
Championship.
facciano
The following season, they got a 6th place finish as well. So they realized what works. And I feel like they're trying to put that to the test here.
This is a duo that was highly regarded on NA to be an elite force, undoubtedly. Now they're joining forces here again today. I got to touch base with Peterbot, and he had a lot to say. His on-camera demeanor doesn't quite show it, but the kid's got a lot of heart and spirit. So far, he is holding that line as well in 21st. King and Phaser, man, they have a huge task in front of them. They need an end game. They need a big, big moment here. So does 7-Man. 7-Man is by himself. That is also his biggest problem here, is that if he makes it and 7-Man makes it, they will be contesting one another. That's the reason they're here today, a very difficult upper bracket.
Yeah, it just really goes to show how much all of these players are tested, not only throughout the weekend, the
Cioè, pur
day,
di non prendere
and
un
in
altro
this game.
fucile d'assalto Omni
Decent amount of the lobby. Let's just say the bottom half of the leaderboard. Some of them are in a big situation with their backs up against the wall. Cooper goes down to 7-Man. Can he clean up that elimination? That's the question we're going to be asking ourselves. And I feel like I've seen Peak and Vico positioned next to Bully and Shadow almost all game long, all day long as well. They're trying to aggress onto him instead of going
This is
away.
crazy.
They're
This
trying
is
to break into
crazy.
the box, and he falls too far down.
Non
That
vedo
leaves Bully
quasi
by
mai
himself on the
come
high
finito
ground.
un
The wild part about it is Shadow has that, like, all that potential to really finish the job. We've seen him come back with late tournament strides and key his way through teams. That is where he plays best. But unfortunately, he's caught out, trying to go against the fired up Vico and Pink. They're just, you know, in the zone, in the stride right now, and it's truly showing. They'll find themselves this elimination. This will surely secure the deal now. It's over, it's done. Bully has to put the rest of the tournament on for himself here. You know, they have to at least be proud that they went from being one of the teams placed last up into the 30 spots.
Yeah.
Can he push a little further? Solo is going to be a crazy task. He's going to have to dig deep to perform that.
You see a lot of the teams that were on top of Rift Island or around it, they get that far pull towards the south side of the map. Cooper and Miro actually do both go down. 7-Man's going to clean up both of them. Bully falls as well. Batman Booga trying to hold on to his position. And then we got Snazy and Podesai over on the other side. It does look like they're on the hunt. They have at least one player around him. It does look like he might be a solo. And I wonder if that's 7-Man who's already been heating up. Well, quickly answer.
Man is playing so well. Those are 8 points. Those are 8 points. He was at 26. That's going to jump him up. He was 190 damage below. He already found the knock. He finds up Miro afterwards and crushes them at the same time.
Look at his loadout. He doesn't even need any variation of the shotgun either. He goes in for that mythic stinger over towards Relentless Retreat.
No, io ho detto qua e dopo no, sotto, no perché lì c'è la vita e tu hai detto no, esatto, no, voi mi avete detto muovilo sotto, ma io ti avevo messo la camera qua, che cosa state legando? Sempre la metto lì. Sempre metto le camere qua.
But he has a couple players on the backside.
E io vi ho detto
avresti coperto quei numeri
This
lì.
could be his
Cioè,
opportunity.
e
He
io
looks
vi ho
back to try to get that
dove
sword.
l'ho messo
And this is
è
the
il
best
migliore
performance
posto.
we've
No,
seen come
metterla a
out of the
destra
Middle
sì,
Eastern
con
region as a whole at
nella
any
angolo.
in-person event. They have just
Io poi ti ho
continued to
detto in
get
alto a
better and
destra
better.
e tu
And
mi hai
7-Man
detto
is truly showing us why they are champions of their region.
no. Sarebbe stata
Although
perfetta.
Calgamer is down
Sì,
right now,
ma
but
non si sapeva.
he's got to do,
Qua era lo
he's got to
giusto,
do it
qua,
again.
dove sempre
He
lo
needs
metto.
more surge. 2 eliminations was not enough. Next up might just be Bryson Chubbs, but first he's got to pick his poison. He's got to move here now, and he's got to move soon. He's one of the last persons here on the backside of the zone.
Yeah, it does look like he's going to attempt to outheal it, wait for those opportunities for these players to try to go ahead and continue moving towards the zone. That's going to be his best chance to try to strike. He's trying to contain the Storm Surge, but he's still 100 down, 133, continuously falling. A lot of his heals are going to be expended in this situation. But what choice does he have? He's a solo in a world of duos.
Yeah, and that damage that shows just slowly slipping away, getting further and further, looking for any of that leftover loot. He knew that he had something here. There was stuff to spare. Has to pop the slurp juice, take the double. I was gonna say the double movement potentially, but no. He needs the shotgun. He's got to do something monumental now. Will it be a solo? Will it be a duo he lands on? Let's find out. He finds a team rotating here, Belusi and more, but then into the box, and he almost does it. It was so close. He finds Q&D, but Rapid was there to seal the deal, zip him up, and unfortunately, that's it. That's Rap. So what a performance. You have to be so proud you made it that far.
Yeah, just outside of that bubble in 26 is where he went down. And he's doing it with an unorthodox playstyle, not really carrying a shotgun until that final moment.
Oh no, this is everything.
139 below though. They realize the situation that they're in. Even though they might want to back off, they have no choice but to go forward. That's PH Zen and Keto's on the other side. And this is where they're just trying to back down. They're doing just enough, 1 foot in front of the other. But if they continue to wait for too long, Storm Surge will activate, and they don't have many heals between the two.
This is so scary because PHN has been on fire, but he doesn't have shields. Clix has to do it. He has to do it here and now, and he does. Puts up the numbers. Well played, but it's not enough. He's still 5 below. He's going to have to heal here and find a tag. Can he get it? No. Shot from above. It's Hen who plays upset Pamstu here. If he doesn't find a tag, it's all over. Epic gets it in the nick of time and enough time to potentially save his duo. Oh my gosh. But Clix is dropping everything. He's saying, hey, you have to stay alive. Play for yourself. Do it here and now.
Yep, this is the final moments. We've seen Epic Well clutch out before in the past, but that's exactly it. He doesn't have any heals to work with. Neither did Clix on his down body, so it's all up from here, but unfortunate. He's just trying to go ahead and use those bounce pads, every tool he has in his tool belt to try to get there, and maybe even try to sneak attack one of these teams that might know he's there. Perfect rotation coming out from Epic, not really getting tagged up. This is his chance. He's barely on that mine. He's barely on the threshold trying to stay alive.
Stay alive a little bit longer. You can get the placement points. That is truly what he needs to do. He's in 27th. Once he breaks past 25th, every team that falls will be a difference maker. It's all or nothing right now. He is only 91 above, just barely there, but the chance, the opportunity, the hope is still alive. So is Death, another solo who needs to stay up. One more team will be it. Phaser's already down. That means King is on his final leg too. King falls as well. And they are down and out. Epic Whale is now on that absolute line here.
Wow, he pulled zone as well.
Oh my gosh.
Talk about a blessing in disguise, a miracle even. That's going to allow him to let some of these teams go ahead, go over his box, under his box, and this could be the perfect moment to catch somebody off guard, but he has to be careful because a lot of these teams surrounding him are going to be full-on duos. You can even see Batman, Booga, and Rapid there. There might be one player towards the bottom that you try to take advantage of, but it doesn't look like he's going to peek in that direction. He's just biding his time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
2 points already given to him. 2 more points now.
No.
Top 23, but the surge updates as teams start to fall here. He's the final line. He is the one below. To his left, to his right, players everywhere, but the zone is behind him. And now, off he goes, 200 builds in front of him, showing you guys why he is a 6x FNCS champion. Can he clutch up? Surely he can. There's a player there. He sees the builds come out. It's fresh wood. Can he break it? No. Decides to go for it. 18 seconds now before the zone starts to close and move in. Players jumping everywhere. Zone's on his tail side. Crash pads in front of him. He takes one. Left exposed. He's nervous. Tensions are high here.
Time is definitely ticking. Only a few seconds left before Storm Surge activates. This is going to be the moment right here. It's all or nothing for Epic Well, trying to stay alive. 293 below the threshold. He's trying to move forward. He sees a couple players in front of him. The damage is there. He's trying to do just enough. Playing a game of peekaboo, but he's still below the damage threshold.
One tag, but no! But did he do enough? Did he get to top 20 or not? Is the question. It's going to be so very close. How many many points did he earn? Back
Questa
into
sarà
the
la
game though.
stessa
The line
situazione,
is there.
È
Peterbot
l'identifica
is
il
firing his way up to the top, and he's still going. Finishing
Però
the
ci
job.
avanzato
And Epic
qualcuno,
left off.
adesso
A
si-
clean finish there on to Rapid.
He's hoping and praying that every one of these teams are below him are getting eliminated by people who already have their spot secured, just like Peterbot and Byla. They're inside of that top 25. They're trying to push themselves even further, and he's hoping that it's them who take down some of these players. Moneymaker, Fnayan are going to be right below Byla. That's one of the teams that needed a big game here on the day. High ground's going to be stolen away from TK and Quanti.
Oh my
One of them's going to go down. The crash landing comes through, but Peterbot just dunks him out of the lobby.
Peterbot turning online now, but he loses Byla in the process now by himself. Peterbot has definitely done enough to get to Sunday finals. At this rate, it has to be. But Groles on the low ground here for Clownski has to put up the numbers. This is incredible. If he does enough, he can actually push players out of their top 25. This is one of the few players that needs a little bit more. Vadil's in front of Peterbot. There's still a few top teams in the running here.
Yeah, there's only just a couple of teams outside of that bubble that need these big points. Top 7. Every single player left is going to be solos. Peterbot falls. He was just on the bubble as well. Noxy getting an elimination on Luigi. Final 4 players. This is it. These are the moments. Noxy falls. Situation. Vadil versus Groles. A player who already has a spot versus a player who needs a big win. Groles goes down. Vadil takes him out. But who qualified? That's the question we're asking.
mi aspettavo.
Fight it was, and Vadil and Savage get a win like we know they should. Absolutely deserving, and you have to give him the crown. We'll be seeing them at the finals.
You see the celebration, the loudness. Frankie on the stage. Let us know.
Vadil and Savage, not only did you just take the victory royale, you have also topped the leaderboard at the end of day 2. Congratulations, Vadil. I know you feel a bit on a high right now, but can you put this moment into words for me?
I don't know. It's just funny. I don't know. I just solo win.